traditional relationships, marriage, dating, all that kind of stuff. And if you're in Southeast Asia or some other countries, it's going to be different than in the United States, but we're going to talk about it today a little bit. So that should be fun. I always like talking about these things. Relationships are never easy. That's what I will say. They're never easy. You always got to, you're not just thinking about yourself. You can't really be selfish. It's easy. You got one person, you think about you. That's it. Hey, I'm not thinking about anybody but myself, right? You go where you want. You do what you want. You say what you want. You're responsible to no one but yourself. And that, well, it can be easier. It can be as easy or hard as you want it to be. But when you get involved in a relationship, you got other people to think about. Especially if you got, you got kids, whatever. You got to think about more than just yourself. So that's something that you got to take into consideration before you put a ring on it. You better make sure that you are prepared for what's ahead. So I think that's something that less people are doing now, and I see it less here than in the past. But we're going to talk about that. Before I get started here, though, the Thai baht, the dollar's taking a beating right now. It's 32.86 to the dollar. The air quality is 118, which is not good. It's unhealthy. There's 30% chance of rain. It's 83 degrees, high of 93, low of 79. However, right now, the feel-like temperature is 94 degrees. There's zero wind, and the humidity is 83%. So there you go. That's why the feel-like temperature, the heat index, is what it is. And visibility is 6 miles. But it is a cloudy day out today. It's not a very nice day. It's overcast, looks like rain, and it's not the usual day here, at least in the recent past. So good morning, everybody. Appreciate all those people who are joining me. If you would please do so. Remember to leave a thumbs up, subscribe, click the notification bell if you haven't done so, and check down in the description for all the ways other than viewing that you can help support the channel. Join the YouTube, become a YouTube sponsor. Just hit the join button down below, become a Patreon patron, get one of my t-shirts, get some merch. That always helps. And there's always the usual, the PayPal, at least for now. I'm going to go over that a little bit more because some more news came out about that. PayPal, what else is there? The CASHAPP, and there's some crypto and stuff. But I'm not a huge fan of the cryptocurrency. I just don't. I'm so uncertain about what's going to happen, and I know there are people who love it. My wife likes it, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm a little apprehensive about it. So maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe I'm a little too traditional when it comes to these things. But so anyway, today we're gonna, if I can get my internet to work here again, we are gonna talk about traditional relationships. And I don't know why I was thinking about this, but I was thinking about, I was talking to Patty and Bob yesterday, and we were talking about how women, it's difficult to be friends with women. And that's a topic for another stream. But I started thinking about it, and I just thought, the more I think about it, the more that traditional relationships seem to be, I know they've been around for a long time. Marriage has been an institution that's been around for a long time. But I just look around, and there's a lot less people um, that, that I talk to here on the show, but there's a lot less people in general in everyday life that I'm speaking with who are like looking at marriage as they get out of college or a few years out of college. They don't want to. Even here in in Southeast Asia, I think less people are pulling the trigger. They realize, hey, and in the United States, I completely understand. From what I've heard and what I've seen, I completely understand why there's, and just from some of the women that I've seen and their attitudes, I completely understand why men don't want to get married in the United States. Let's see here. Buy me a rap god. That's not going to happen. Sorry. Good morning, everybody. Appreciate it. Now, one could say that, men just want to get laid. They have no use for women. What do we need them for? Just have sex with them. Okay, if we want to have kids, we'll do that. But you can also make the case that, now women don't need men. A lot of, there are some women out there who are like, I just want to find a good man who makes a good salary and he'll work with me, or he'll make all the money and I'll stay at home and raise the kids. They're back to that, I guess. I don't know. But there are plenty of women who are career women. They make a hell of a lot of money, or they make a great living, and they don't need men. What do they need the men for? Okay, they can go out and get dick too. However, society still views that differently. Men are allowed to go out, and if they sleep with 50 women, it's not really frowned upon. I mean, as long as they're safe and a little bit careful. If women do it, still in this society, and in American society as I know it, women are viewed in a poor, they're viewed as sluts, and their value drops because of that. So, this is something that may be changing, because when I was a kid, it was still traditional. When I was a young kid in the 60s and early 70s, it was still very traditional for a woman to stay home and take care of the kids, and maybe have a little side job or something like that, and for the man to bring home the bacon. And being a gold digger was frowned upon. And I think some of the things that have changed the view on traditional relationships have to do with social media, and I don't think it's a good thing, to be completely honest. Yesterday I was talking about how, and I've told my kids this: if you see a woman and she's on the social media and all she does is show pictures of herself, run. Don't be with her, because that's what's important to her. Her social media, showing her body, showing her face, showing her sexiness is what she's selling. So if she's selling it online, everybody's out there. They can get some of it, And so I think with the social media, you got to be very, very careful, especially if you're a woman. Because let's face it, men. I don't know about the whole men thing, women. But the when it comes to men looking at women online, they look at women with their sexuality, with their beauty. You think about it. And women don't necessarily look at men, and they may say it to themselves, they may keep it to themselves, and they may even write a little something, but I don't think they view men who got their shirt off in the same light as men who look at women and they're barely clothed. I don't know if I'm growing a beard again. I got no idea. I have no idea. One day I'll have the beard and the next day I won't. It really depends. Depends on my feelings. So I found some information here, which I don't know if I agree with or not. But let's see here. This one, but you know what? Before I get started, I got to go over some of the local news here. One is that the PayPal suspension of accounts is going forward, and after March 7th, if you are not a registered business in Thailand, you will no longer be able to transfer money back and forth. It's basically done as a transfer service for people who have Thai accounts. And now they're not even taking new registrations, because I don't think they've got everything set up the way they want, because they say here, and this is a Bangkok Post article, we have already opened account registration for registered businesses and continue the process of transferring existing registered business customers to PayPal. Regrettably, we need more time to prepare our services for consumers, sole proprietors, and freelancers or casual sellers in order to comply with all applicable Thai laws. And this is really bad timing, because you got all these people who are having a hard time making a living because of the pandemic, and now they're just taking away another way of receiving funds. And there are other ways, but if you're Thai, it's not all that easy to open up. Some places don't, they have restrictions in Thai accounts and that sort of thing, but and some places are just not that good, to be quite honest. You don't want to use them. From March 7th, consumers in Thailand with an existing PayPal account will no longer be able to use their PayPal wallet to shop online until further notice, according to PayPal's website. They will be able to withdraw any balance in their PayPal wallet to their bank account. So in other words, if you have cash in your account, you're going to be able to withdraw it, and then you're just not going to be able to get any more money. So consumers will still be able to make payments using a debit or credit card. So you just can't carry a PayPal balance and can't transfer. So the transfer function is basically dead for quite a few people. Anyway, so that's pretty interesting to me. And if you want, if you want to hear something that might turn you off a little bit about. And give you a hell of a good reason to not get involved with, not to break the golden rule, the one and only golden rule, the biggest rule I have for coming to Thailand, and especially as a newbie or somebody who really has no knowledge of the country, and that is, do not get emotionally involved with a working girl. Know what it is. Be strong enough to know what it is, understand what it means, and the reason I'm saying this is because there is an article on the BangkokJack.com website. Thai sex workers on trial accused of defrauding 3 men of $250,000. Now, this was in New Zealand, and 2 of the women, Nuapan Koksang and Pornti Ponquet, they're in their 60s. The one woman is 67, the other is 63, and they are currently on trial in the Hamilton District Court, fighting 7 charges, 6 of which are for obtaining funds by deception, and another for blackmailing a complainant after allegedly threatening to expose naked photos of him if he did not pay up. These 2 people defrauded 3 male complainants for around $253,600. Now, if this doesn't reek of chowderheadism, I don't know. I really don't know what does. The accused, both out of Auckland, two of the men after they responded to a massage advertisement in the newspaper and met the other in a retail shop. These women came into the lives of some elderly men who they became close to. They then traded on this relationship of sorts to obtain money from them by deceiving them about what they were going to do with the money and claiming they were going to repay it. All in all, they defrauded these men in in excess of 200,000 US dollars. The first victim met in a newspaper advertisement in 2015. The pair of women asked him to loan money to them for various reasons, including helping their family member in Bangkok and helping them to get residency. The pair would drive Mr. A, his name is not shown, to ATM so he could take money out. By November, one woman asked if the other could stay at the man's house, and he said no. However, during a sexual encounter, one of the women took a photo of Mr. A while he was naked and getting dressed. He tried to get the phone away from her, but he was restrained by her, I guess. She would later ring him and explain the consequences of publishing the photos if he did not pay them their money. He paid them around $20,000. When his wife returned from overseas, he told her what happened and texted the pair to get his money back without success. No money has been repaid since then. The next victim, Mr. B, has passed away but managed to make an audio recording to be used in the trial. He made it the day before he died in March 2019. The accused also met Mr. B in 2015 and said they were involved in bringing gold to New Zealand and selling it for a substantial profit. The pair told a litany of stories around why they needed the money, to which they obliged on the premise that it be paid back. In total, $13,900 was given to the accused. Nearly $210,000 was allegedly obtained by the defendants. All right, let me just go on here. So these women said they're going to use it for something, they didn't use it, and then it says instead of spending the money on what they told the complainants, the accused instead spent a lot, I don't know how much, a lot of it, they may not know, on gambling. They lodged a complaint with the police in March 2018 after failing to get their money back. The women set out spending the money gambling and the like with no intention of ever repaying it. Now, the accused are being assisted by interpreters, and the trial is being overseen by Judge Stephen Clark. The first witness will be called after the lunch adjournment. So I don't know. I'm not sure what that is. It sounds like a local article. I don't know where it was from. It doesn't say. But this is just the kind of thing that you just. This is a perfect example of what I'm saying. You be very careful. Don't give more than you're willing to lose. And why would you loan these women money? They can post my naked pics. It'll be like playing Where's Waldo? If old dude is not famous, public, who cares? Some ladies try. Well, you never know. He may be ostracized by his community. There's a host of things that could happen. Maybe he has a little wiener and he's really shy about it. I don't know. But I mean, really, like, for them to do that, that's flat out blackmail. And so my point is, be careful. Be very, very careful. Because especially if you're some guy who has no knowledge of how it works, some of them are actually very good women, and they're just trying to make a living. And, they're like, listen, if I can get a couple extra bucks out by telling the guy, oh, you look so nice today, I think you're very handsome, or, oh, sex with you is so wonderful. It's never been like this with anybody else. I think, if you take everything they say with a grain of salt. And if you're gonna do something, hey Charles, if you're gonna do something, like give them some money. Understand that, if they're saying they're gonna give you the money back, it's like anything else, be prepared, because maybe they can't give it back, maybe they don't want to give it back. There's a host of reasons why, but why would you do that? And the thing is that these are, I don't know how old the men were, they didn't say, but I mean, one of the women was 67 years old. Maybe they were doing it out of the goodness of their heart, but there's a limit to how kind you can be. There really is a limit. I don't know, Gennaro. I got no idea. You got the manager. Well, this is something that, when you get involved with a woman who is on the game, so to speak, understand that it is a business. It's a business transaction. Now, maybe they were giving it up, and these guys like, whoa, this is the first time I've been able to get it up in 20 years. I don't know. So, yeah, that's why it's so easy. Really, it's very easy. The golden rule is, if she is working in some place, you come over, it's the first trip, second trip, you come over, you meet her, and she's in some dive go-go bar, or she's the most popular dancer in the go-go bar. Assume that it is a business transaction. Assume that any money you give, that money's gone. You're paying for her time. You're not even paying for the sex. You're paying for her time and for her to go away. I don't know if it's going to rain today, but it may rain tomorrow. There's a higher chance of it raining tomorrow, but it does look a bit cloudy and overcast. So, and yes, you should buy an umbrella. I told you, you can get one. They're about 99 baht. You can get one pretty easily. And, you can carry it around, and it's pretty small. You put it in a little backpack or something. That's what I usually do. I don't have one today because I just didn't feel like bringing it with me. But, listen, anytime, I hate to say this, and this goes to what we're talking about today, about traditional relationships. And, I've been watching a couple different things and on relationships, and I'm really shocked at how some of the younger women seem to think. And, I really am not involved in the whole Instagram, Facebook, and I'm not a big YouTuber. I'm not really, I'm not a large channel. And my interactions with other YouTubers are pretty limited. But when it comes to other social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, I don't know how some of these women do it, but they aspire to go online and to make money from it and to get guys to take care of them. And some of the things that these women are paid for, it's unbelievable. I mean, really, some of it's pretty nasty, but no, I haven't been watching any. I haven't been watching any of that. What I believe is, you need to be a man. You need to man up, and you need to be able to say no. And these guys in New Zealand clearly could not say no. And now look in the predicament they're in. Hey man, if they wanted to give $250,000 away, I got a plot of land in Florida they can have. Really. I mean, I don't understand why they would do that. It's like you get to the point where you're like, oh baby, it's like, and the only thing I can think is deceit. So, you're looking for the con is what you're looking for. Are they running a con on you? And there are women out there who they will, tell you anything you want, and after 2-3 years, boom, they try to hit you up for the big score, or they put you in a predicament where you're like, I don't, and it tugs at your heartstrings. They know this. Now, I gotta say, I'm not talking only about Thai women, for sure. And I'm not talking about all women. There are women out there that they don't listen. Of course, they want to find someone who they view as a success or view as someone who makes a good partner, or however you want to put it. There's a number of things. But there are some that they're like, listen, dude, I may want you for what you got down between your legs, just like you might want me for that. But I got a job. I'm happy with my job. I make my own money, and I don't need you for yours. And I think if you start looking for women like that it fits just like you want to go to a country that suits your needs. And I'm going to say it again. It's great that they treat you well. There are many, many hookers who treat you well. It doesn't mean that they suit your needs. And the same thing goes, with countries. Just because the place treats you well doesn't mean that it fits all of your specifications for a place to live. So, and some of these women will play the long game. And we're not just talking about in Asia, we're talking about all over the world. And there are guys that do it too. And to me, I look at it and I look at it and I go, man, I am so conservative. I'm definitely old. Because some of the stuff that they're doing, and I've said it before, the whole online dating and Tinder and I don't know which one is the one where you swipe. Maybe that's Tinder, I don't know. But all that stuff, I'm like, really? Now, I found an article, it's called How Dating Has Changed Over the Last 100 Years. Some people look back fondly on dating generations ago with romantic ideas of greater morality and better values. Others think that with all the online apps and matchmaking websites we have today, it's never been easier to play the field. I didn't even know about Bumble. I never heard of Bumble. But each era of dating in the past century was not without its pros, its cons, and its own set of unspoken rules. From the turn of the 20th century to present day, romantic relationships have been an evolving part of culture, just like everything else. The concept of dating really began at the turn of the 20th century. Prior to the early 1900s, courtship was a much more private, unemotional affair. Women would meet with several men with their parents' present to whittle the pickings down to the most suitable match for marriage, which heavily relied on factors such as financial and social status. When a young woman decided on a man she wanted to see exclusively, their activities as a couple took place either in the household or at social gatherings. At that time, there was no such thing as just two young lovers going out on a date. However, this began to change in the early years of the 20th century when couples began to go out together in public and unsupervised. There used to be chaperones. And actually, there still are chaperones here in Thailand. And there were when I was dating my wife. And I remember we went out. She wouldn't go out with me alone. She had to go out with a couple of her girlfriends. And I went out with a couple of my buddies. We all went out. I think there was 6 of us, maybe 8 of us. Still, the ultimate and very apparent goal was still that of marriage. This stands in stark contrast to today's dating world when the topic of marriage may not be brought up for several years. The gentleman caller. Oh man, how things have changed. The first decade of the 20th century was marked by the figure of the gentleman caller. If a young man was interested in a young woman, he would follow the proper protocol of calling upon her, which meant he would come to the family's home and hopefully be welcomed into their parlor. If he was invited back for subsequent visits, He would be free to come and call upon the young woman during hours specified by her parents. As the years rolled into the 1920s, however, this system quickly became outdated and unfavorable. Dating had almost completely replaced the old system of calling by the mid-20s, and in doing so, it transformed American courtship. This was the period of time when couples started going out on dates, which also meant they started paying for dates. This changed their relationship dynamic between a young man and a young woman, as now it was the man's duty to pay for the date, whereas before it was the woman who decided the terms of the visit. Courtship versus dating. The fundamental difference between courtship and dating is that of freedom. While traditional courtship had its own set of rules and rituals, dating, as it evolved, became less structured. Courtship was seen as a fundamental part of a well-functioning society. When people started dating, relationships became less restricted and more personal. Listen, I still remember taking girls out and going to the drive-in movie. And, you know, how long's it been since drive-ins were really a thing? It's been a long, long time. And, you know, if you were in the drive-in and you went in the back seat, you know what was expected, and they knew what was expected. You were going to do some necking or heavy petting. I'm reading from this article, How Dating Has Changed Over the Last 100 Years, on thelist.com. So, I mean, you know, obviously it's been a long time. It's been a long time. Listen, I'm out of a loop in Thailand now, and in Southeast Asia. I'm out of the loop. I don't really remember anything about how things work. I mean, I have a vague recollection of how things were when I first came over here, but I don't really know how it is right now. I mean, there are things that surprise me all the time here, and so when it comes to the United States, forget about it. I really don't know. I don't know much about the United States and how things are, but what I see, I just have to shake my head and go, men are allowing this shit? Are they that desperate? And yeah, they're so desperate that they're traveling overseas. And I really want to do some research and find out what percentage of men used to expatriate and find foreign wives in the past versus now. So that's something I'll be doing in the future. Thought my acronym vocabulary was good going into the Army. Then I arrived in Thailand and realized I knew nothing. Forget about it. Acronyms, they're all over the place now, and I can't keep up. I have to research whatever it is, and then look through 10 different sets of acronyms to find the one that matches. There have always been women and men who are prepared to do the dirty on us. Social media dating websites have just exposed us to far more than we would have otherwise been exposed to. Yes, the Victorian era had a very kinky subculture. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, really, I don't know. In my day, you know, it was go to the drive-in, and if you're with it, and then if you were with a girl and you didn't have your own place, you just went and got a motel. Somebody, I don't know, there was always a way to get a hotel or motel. And at the young age, it depended on when we're talking about, but I wasn't allowed to stay out all night. And nowadays, they have short-time hotels in Thailand. They have the little ones where you drive up in your car and they pull the curtain shut. So, it depends on what you want, but things were certainly different in the past than they are now. A proper match versus falling in love. Listen, let me just go on here. With the introduction of dating also came the focus of falling in love. So I wonder who this person was. Rather than finding a society-approved match. I don't understand that. Oh, it's got to be society-approved. I would never be society-approved back in the day. I can tell you that. In previous years, love was not seen as being of central importance to a marriage. Well, there you go. And in Thailand, it's not always either. Although that is, I don't want to say it's changing a lot, but maybe it's changed a little bit. I mean, it's still important that, it's important everywhere that you're a decent provider and, good husband, good father. You can do all those things. You're capable. And if it was to come, it would, in the previous years, love was not being of central importance to the marriage. And if it would come, it would emerge after the wedding had already occurred. But with the introduction of dating came an increased desire for romance and love before deciding to commit to marriage. That's interesting. So slowly it changed from, hey, this is your match. We think it's a good match. We, your parents, think it's a good match. We're going to hook up, and we're going to approve this marriage, and you guys can get married. And then, they got to the what's the phrase I'm looking for? They got to cohabitating and closing the deal, we'll say. That's not what I'm trying to think of, but they got to consummating the marriage, and then supposedly love was came later on. Now you got to love people before you get into a long-term relationship. At least in the West, that's how it's supposed to be. Here in Thailand, a lot of it is, are you going to be good for them? Which, okay, I understand that, but are they going to be good for you? So, let me read some of it. Hey, if you guys send super chats and PayPals, I start reading the comments more. All right, I've gotten away from that, and I'm not gonna be doing that. If you're a contributor, I'll read your stuff, no problem. If you're not, you're somebody who comes in here and you're spouting off. I understand you can do it, but don't expect me to read your comment, please. What did Bo's parents think of you initially? Well, her father had passed away, so there was no father in the picture. I said it the other day. Her mother, the first thing she said was, oh, my daughter didn't wait until she graduated, and she's with a foreigner. And I was like standing right there, and I was like, what? But she was about as good of a mother-in-law as you would ever have. Really. She was not your stereotypical, like in TV where the mother-in-law's coming over. Now, she came over, she was fabulous. Really. Love isn't that important because too many people think it's just a feeling. Well, I think it's a very difficult concept to explain, and I think it's about respect and desire and willingness to work things out, and how many times do you see with actors and actresses, they hook up and then 2 years later they break up? Well, that might not have been love, that might just have been lust. And then you see someone, they go, oh, they've had a tumultuous relationship, but somehow managed to stay together. Which is usually because they're very passionate about what they think love is about. So let me go on here, though, because there's some good stuff to get to. By the early 19th century, couples, let me put these on, began to consider romantic love prerequisite for marriage and based their unions on companionship. The era's fiction frequently drew on love themes, while art okay, there you go. This is where this all comes from. And based their unions on companionship. Now that I understand. That's important. If you can't get along with somebody, it is a Thai thing, Andy. It is definitely a Thai thing. In Thailand, I don't believe you're allowed to use super chat, and some people have said to me they used what the hell is it called? The I'm blanking out right now. You know what it is? It's where like an IP. What? My brain. It's out there. It's a proxy. There you go. A little slow today. I've only had a double cappuccino. Let's see here. The era's fiction frequently drew on love themes, while articles, essays, and public orations stressed mutual respect. Okay. Reciprocity. Oh, God, man. I haven't said this word in so long, I don't remember how to say it. Reciprocity. Oh, man. And romance. I gotta look at this because it's bugging me that I don't remember how to say this. Reciprocity. Let's see here. Reciprocity. I didn't know that's how you said it. And if I had been saying that in the past, I was probably saying it wrong. And romance as ingredients of good marriages. You gotta have that spark. Yeah, you gotta have that spark. I was asked what love was. I'm fucking find out. All right, let me go on here. Where are we? Young courting couples chose their own partners. And imagine if you chose your own parents. How many of these women would be choosing like filthy rich parents? They'd be with the Rockefellers and the Warren Buffett and okay, you can be my daddy, Young courting couples chose their own partners, and their letters focused on romance rather than on the practical matters that had dominated the correspondence of earlier generations. The desire to climb the social ladder or secure one's place in society fell by the wayside, and the desire to find a favorable long-term partner took its place. Going steady. Oh, this girl's kind of cute, actually. In the 1950s, going steady was the term. They used that when I was, or going together, when I was in high school. Going steady was the term for being in an exclusive relationship. The status was about the relationship, sure, but it was about standing amongst your peers. Across university campuses, couples publicized their decision to go steady when the man gave the woman an article of his clothing to wear, such as a jacket, sweater, or ring. Dating had become much more about youth culture than about family expectations. The way in which two people experienced sexuality when dating also shifted. In the earlier part of the 20th century, sex and sexuality were not openly discussed, as think about it now versus back then. Oh, as sex was desexualized and reserved for marriage when the couple had entered the spiritual union with God. As dating gradually became more about personal pleasure throughout the decades, the expression of sexuality became much more commonplace. The terms necking and petting, thank you very much, the former referring to kisses and caresses above the neck, the latter to the same below it, entered public discussion, giving names to previously unspoken private activities. Now, when we think of the 50s, we tend to think of the period of purity and the Stepford wife ideal, but in actuality, it was a time of sexual change that ended up resulting in a dramatic increase in the population. Wow, that's because it was free love. There we go. So, I'd like to know what you guys think about all this. Between the popularization of rock and roll and protesting the Vietnam War in the 60s, youth culture was hot for revolution. Not only was it the activities of the U.S. government that young people were resisting, but they were shirking old social conventions as well. If the 50s if the 50s saw young people starting to experiment with sex, the 60s was the resulting explosion of sexual activity in the name of freedom. For a long time, sex was either not discussed or seen as kind of an enemy, a destroyer of a young girl's reputation. But this stopped being the case with the hippie generation. For the youth of the 1960s, such restrictions were a thing of the past. Many young women took to birth controls to prevent pregnancy. They freely explored their sexual feelings. Sex before marriage was no longer taboo. When I first came to Thailand, there were still a lot of women saying, we don't have sex before marriage. Many. And I'm not saying just with me. So that's how I know it's true. If it was just me, I would be like, all right, I understand, you know. I might understand. Young people extolled the benefits of free love, that is, making love without marriage or long-term commitments. There were no rules for dating anymore. Young people did what they wanted when they wanted, and modern-day hookup culture began. All right, Andy, take care. Take her easy. All right, so let me go on here. Dating and tech. All right, here we come. We're getting back up. We're getting back in our era here, or this era, current era. The next major change in dating started with an introduction of matchmaking services and the internet. But the concept of online dating was being worked out way before the general public even had access to the internet. In 1965, two Harvard students created what is known as Operation Match to make dating easier for younger people. Match.com was officially founded in 1995, and it was at this turn of the 21st century that people also began using Craigslist as a way of linking up with other people romantically. Shortly after that, sites like OkCupid followed. Millennial dating. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Millennial dating. Let's see here. In 2017, you couldn't turn your head without finding someone who at least had one dating app on their phone. Tinder, Plenty of Fish, and Bumble, to name a few. Well, some people think this approach to dating really works. Others collectively sigh at the thought of the current dating game. That would be me. So why are so many millennials complaining that dating nowadays is just too frustrating and complicated, when technology was supposed to make it easier? Because technology makes some things easier and some things are more of a pain in the ass, that's why. The individual has become more and more important in today's culture than ever before, and technology has played a big role in that. Just think of the concept of the selfie, which I hate. I don't like selfies. I barely like anybody taking a picture of me. It's not that I think I'm hideous or anything like that. It's like, what's the point, man? All right, you take a picture of me in 2021, take a picture of me, 1981, let's see the difference. Okay, I understand that. But, that's about it. This generation is much more focused on themselves than previous generations. That sentence sums it up, and sums it up about how traditional relationships are viewed. Because when you have that frame of mind, it does not bode well for a happy and long marriage. Combined with the casual culture of hooking up, one-night stands, and friends with benefits, or as is said on the Trailer Park Boys, friends with Benedicts, actually finding someone to seriously date can be difficult. Millennials simply have too many options that going steady can be a hard pitch to sell. Is dating getting better or worse? Well, what do you guys think? If you think dating is getting better, please type in, just put a 1 or an A. Put that in there if you think it's getting better. If you think it's getting worse, put in a 2 or a B. Let me know what you think. And we'll keep an eye on it for the course of the stream. Well, you know, that's another thing. If you ain't got big money and you got to work for it, women got all that. They got what men want, you know. Let's face it. Now, that doesn't mean that it's easy for women, because you can imagine if you're a really nice looking woman and you got guys coming up to you all the time, and like sometimes you got to be just like, Jesus Christ, I don't want to hear your line. I don't want to hear, oh, honey, you're so beautiful. Oh, are you single? You know, after a while, I'm sure it gets tiring. So I'm told. All right, let me see here. There's a case for both sides of this argument. Nowadays, we have more freedom to choose how we live our lives. We make up our own rules, or lack thereof, and are allowed so many options in how we wish to interact with romantic partners. However, this is exactly what makes dating so difficult. What does the other person want? Are they looking for someone real? Are they looking just to have fun? Are there any mind games going on? Yeah, mind games, you know, to me, it's a waste of time. Today's dating world is certainly a maze, but that doesn't mean that love doesn't still happen. Whether you meet on Tinder or you meet in a bar, you can end up finding the one. Or you can just like not try to find the one and just let things happen organically. I think that's probably the best way to go about doing things. All right, what's going on here? So that's a pretty interesting article. Keep your wallet closed, keep your mind open, and what is this? Man, you know, I wasn't going to bitch about it today, but I got to say, if anybody from Starbucks, who works at Starbucks, is ever listening to this, I'm telling you, your internet in damn near every Starbucks that I've ever been in Thailand is horrible. You guys need a little bit of an upgrade. I hate to say that, but it's true. Now, what is this? If you were to pose this topic to different age demographics, what do you think the answer would be? Say, for example, the opinion of your sons and some of the other guys. Maybe I didn't find the one, but I found the other. Yeah, I don't know. You know, I mean, like, oh my God, she's my dream girl. Everything is so perfect. It's the best. You know, and it's like, all right, yeah, and maybe once in a while there's a person who finds it like that. But, you know, what I've seen, even in the relationships that I've been in the past that were good, but they just didn't end in marriage. You know, it was never always easy to work. It was effortless. No, there was effort involved. You know, are we going out on Friday? Yes, we'll go out on Friday if you want. Where do you want to go? I don't know. You choose the restaurant. Okay. Then on Thursday night, you say, are we still going out? I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, I made reservations at Shea Malin. Oh, well, let me tell you tomorrow. And then you're waiting all day, and the girl's, you know, and it's like, well, do you want to go out or not? I'm not sure. You know, and you gotta be patient, you gotta be tolerant, and they have to be the same. You know, and like I've said before, you know, I know I'm not the easiest person to live with, and believe me, there are times when Well, most of the time my wife's pretty easy to live with. Sid's not always so easy to live with, Sid the cat, but let's see here. Now, if I was to pose this topic to my kids, no, my kids are pretty traditional. I don't see them, now they might meet people online because of school, they're not really big into the online thing. Maybe they would hook up, but I think more than likely they just hook up through a group of friends, it just happens organically. And I think they still believe in that. And I think my wife wants them to believe in that. She doesn't want them to go, well, I'm not getting married and I don't want any kids. And, I understand that some people feel that way. But, I hear some women and they're like, oh, I don't want it to ruin my body. I'll just adopt. And I'm like, okay, wait another 5 years, see how you think. When all your girlfriends are running around showing off their kids, and some of them still look pretty good, see if you still don't want one. I understand it, and I think there are some people that don't need that, they shouldn't have kids, and there are some people that they're never going to want them. My boys should watch what? Watch this. Well, listen, my kids are on their own, man. They're smart. I've taught them well. I believe in that. I do believe in what I've taught them. Some people may not always agree with what I've said to them or anything like that, but it's not for them to determine what is right or wrong. It's for me. And, with me, I always do it with the intention of them being safe and also, finding someone they'll have a joy with, or getting involved with someone that adds something to their life. True romance, hookup, companionship. Well, some people, they may not want to get involved in any way because carrying on a relationship means you got to call somebody. You actually got to talk to them. You got to open up. You got to get vulnerable if you really want to get close. And that's not always something that people want to do. All right, so let me go on here. Let's see here. All right, I'm looking at this article here. This is from the Medium. And this article is 5 years old. But in 5 years, I don't know how much things have changed. But one of the things that I noticed in this article, it says today relationships are more based on physical attraction rather than personality. These days relationships are you plus me equals lust, not love. Pure lust is based solely on physical attraction and fantasy that often dissipates when the real person surfaces. However, real love, not based on idealizations or projection, requires time to get to know each other. Haven't I been saying that? Man, I should have been the love doctor or something. Seriously, because I have said this over and over and over again. Take it slow, take it easy, you don't have to hurry. And it doesn't mean that, you can't be going at it, like rabbits. It just means you need to separate your emotions from the physicality, which I understand is not always easy, but you can do it. You can do it. Especially when you start thinking about, uh-oh, I slipped. Now I've got a kid. Oh. Or, you find out that she's a nut job and she's been lying to you the whole time. She's got 3 kids. You didn't even notice. I know several guys who they're with a woman and the woman told them they didn't have any kids. Well, they didn't have any babies. They didn't have any babies. The kids were like 10 years old, 12 years old. The guy didn't even know. Guys don't even know sometimes. So, and that's the other thing. That's a straight up lie. Are you going to stick around for that? Are you going to allow for that? You're already involved in the relationship. Maybe you're, starting to get a little bit sprung on her, and vice versa. And then you go, well, you lied about the kids, honey. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm too harsh with the love. I don't know. The 20th century of adults have an entitled attitude, which it creates a selfish outlook towards relationship and makes it so that people care only about their needs in the relationship and not about the other person's needs in the relationship. This is a contributor to how people choose to stay distant in relationships because they don't want to get hurt. But if one never takes a risk, one will never know what is being missed out on. Women have low self-esteem because society tells them they must look a certain way and act a certain way in order to be loved by men, and because of this, women let men treat them however they want with the outlook that it's okay to treat them this way because they're not good enough for society. All right, yeah. All right, now we're getting into all kinds of emotional, mental, mental things. But I tell you what, I would appreciate it. I only got one answer in here. Come on. Let's make this a little more interactive. But I'm wondering how many of you are opposed to a traditional relationship, or are you still open to it? Are you open to saying, okay, well, and I mean, I know like Patty or Bob. I wouldn't call him the most traditional guy, but I think he has tried to get involved in, he's been married. And I think, for him, he's realized that, maybe the best thing for me is to do it a different way. I'm open to a wife, long-term relationship, but you have to understand that I may still play the field a bit on the side. Okay, easier said than done. And would that be an Asian wife or a Latina, or would that be a Western woman, or does it matter? Because I can tell you that there are, just right off the top of my head, there are a large number of women that will automatically, your options are limited now because of, I may still play a little bit on the side. Anybody else? Everybody's so quiet today. What the fuck is traditional? If someone wants a partner, just go out and get your feet wet. Screw whatever everyone says, whatever they're credentialed or not. Well, I agree with that. When it comes to traditional, I would say marriage is considered traditional, or hooking up and being in a long-term monogamous relationship is considered by, like in the United States, to be the norm as far as traditional goes. I don't think it's the norm for a guy who's 45 years old to, like engage in, well, I don't even know if that's normal in any sense, but yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know what traditional is. That's the thing. The lines are blurred now. So, and maybe that's part of the problem, that the lines are becoming more and more blurred. I don't know. I mean, how do you know? I know quite a few that are, but I also know some that are not. So I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to say. I mean, what, I could go, well, it, like Chuck, I could be like, oh, 39%, but I don't know. I really don't know. And the more successful they become, I think that the more pressure on the wife there is to take care of him, and also to be successful in her own right. Just because she's married to a successful man doesn't, listen, just because Warren Buffett's wife is married to Warren Buffett doesn't necessarily mean that she doesn't want to do something else with her life. I don't know who he's married to. I don't even know what the deal is. I thought he was married to some Asian woman a while ago, but I don't remember. But it doesn't mean that she doesn't want to work or doesn't want to do something that's going to make her what would be a good living, make her own money. That's not necessarily the case, so. Yeah, I was curious if traditional was wife stays at home and watches the children. Yeah, that's a good question, because I really don't know. The more I think about it, the more I realize I don't know. I mean, maybe in Thailand, like my wife going to work and then me doing things and making my own money on the side, and with YouTube, when I make money on YouTube, that might not be the most traditional here. If you're in the United States and some guy is doing his job and she's doing a job and you're both trying to pay the bills together, I don't see that that's not traditional. If you want to go back to, the nuclear age, what was it? The nuclear family. When, the wife was at home, you had the little white picket fence, and you had 2.3 kids or something like that. And, she stayed at home, she raised the children, she cooked the breakfast, the lunch, and the dinner, and took them off to school. And when Honey came home, she fed him and rubbed his feet. And I don't see that that's been around for a long time. I don't have kids, but most of my friends' wives do go to work and they send kids to daycare. Yeah, I know of people in the United States that their wife would work, and it was basically to cover their health insurance, because their health insurance was so expensive. And maybe there was some money left over, I don't know. But the main reason was to cover the health insurance. So I don't think it's, I think maybe that the definition changes from generation to generation, and maybe even from year to year. I'm in Minnesota. Cold there. Minnesota women, from what I know of them, they tend to be pretty, well, at least back when I was in the United States, they were pretty traditional. Minnesota, Michigan, North Dakota or South Dakota, North Dakota, all those places, Missouri, they all, to me, seem pretty traditional. But then you never really know behind closed doors. If you become a parent, worry about raising your kids, quit acquiring stuff, quit wasting money, quit wasting time. It's not about you anymore. Thank you very much. I know that very, very well. That is so true, and I think that there are many people out there that they want to, if they have the money, they want to pawn the kid off to the nanny or something like that. And if they don't have the money, they send them to daycare or something. If they have that money, or they may need to stay home and take care of the person because they don't have enough money, and their partner is the one who's bringing in the money. So that, in a way, that might set them back because, listen, two incomes is better than one. That's how I look at it. Yeah, the Midwest is very traditional for sure. Quit traveling. Well, now you guys are talking about me. That's slowly coming to an end. My traveling days are probably, the best days are probably behind me, but that's not necessarily going to always be the case. When I hit 65 or something, I might be like, all right, you know what? I want to take a couple trips. I got a couple places left on the bucket list, and I want to, I want to go somewhere. But it's not as important, and it shouldn't be important, really. I mean, I did it for quite some time, and it was something that I needed to do. I had to do it. It was part of the job. And, the kids were a lot younger now. Now they're getting older, but I don't envy somebody in the United States who's got like 3 kids and they got to make a go of it. I mean, I can't even imagine. Especially if you're living somewhere that's quite expensive, like New York, San Francisco, Chicago, some of those places, Miami. All right, let me see. We got another one over here. Supposedly, traditional relationships tend to last longer. Traditional relationships with clearly defined roles tend to last longer, and I can see how that makes sense. But I also think that a more modern relationship can also have roles within the relationship and be just as long-lasting. Notice the word lasting, not the word of happiness is being used, but we will get to that. There are many types of traditional relationships in home lives, but the basic traditional relationship involves a male and a female, with the man typically being the more dominant partner while the woman is more submissive. In this context, submissiveness does not mean voiceless, but the woman will follow the man's lead and play a more supporting role in the relationship. Yeah, okay, I got that. I can relate to that. Let me keep going here. A traditional relationship also has more clearly defined roles for the couple. For example, the man could be the sole provider or primary breadwinner. The man could also take care of the home repairs, trash, and vehicle maintenance. For the woman, she would take care of the cooking, the cleaning, and be the primary caretaker of any children. Although this type of relationship may seem antiquated and would not work for some, it works for many, and the relationships do tend to last longer. Modern relationships make their own rules. They break free of the stereotypical roles of relationships and marriage and define their own coupledom. Just like the traditional relationships, there are many types of modern relationships. Could be an unmarried couple living together, or a married couple who both work and share chores, taking turns as needed. There you go. There it is there. Let me see something here. Don't listen to the news in the U.S. Still plenty of traditional women out there, but for sure times have changed. Yeah, I don't, I really, am slow to change my thinking to where, like, oh, all the women in the United States now, all they ever think about is themselves, and they're just so selfish. Every one of them, they don't, they're not going to make a good wife. Yeah, okay, I'm sure there's a percentage like that. They're not all like that. Let's be real. And I think what's happening is some of them, and I can tell you that in the podcast that I was watching the other day, where they had all these women on there, I was like going, holy shit, you got like 6 women sitting here. One is a complete moron. She could barely speak. I mean, she couldn't fit into a, she wouldn't be able to go into someplace nice and be able to hold her own if she had to speak. She was just a complete dummy. And there was a couple of them that were sitting there on the phones and they were primping and they're doing all these things, and I thought, hey honey, them tits are gonna fall. Yeah, you can get some fake ones, but it ain't the same. And I just thought, wow. And there was only like 1 or 2, and I went, okay, that one's got a good head on her shoulders. Now maybe that's a good percentage, 1 or 2 out of 6. But it's not necessarily. That doesn't necessarily mean that all Western or American women are going to be like that. It means that all those people in that particular podcast, out of those people, that was a limited scope to choose from. But I've seen several of them, and there's just some that have the attitude like, well, my man's going to have to make $150,000 a year. He's going to have to be 6 foot or above. He's going to have to treat me like a queen. And I saw one guy, and the guy goes, so what are you going to give? He flat out asked her, what are you going to give? He said, what are you going to give? You going to open your legs for him? He's like, honey, if you're that successful, that's a dime a dozen. Even if you're not a huge star, you're not filthy rich. Women are everywhere. There are women that want to open their legs. Now, they may not be in your neighborhood. You may not be able to find them, in Podunk, Wisconsin. But, maybe you go somewhere else, you're in a city and you find, wow, this is completely different. Or you go to a different country and you find, wow, it's completely different. Trying to imagine beer, barefoot, and pregnant. Ugh. Yeah, at least she's not. No, she's a hard worker. I don't think she's here today. I don't see her. It's the manager and Preo that are here. But listen, give credit where credit is due. One thing that if you're gonna come over here, make sure that they got something going on. They're doing something with their life. They could work at Starbucks. What's wrong with that? See, to me, listen, if you meet a chick and she's a garbage woman, and she is stable, and you like the way she looks, and once she gets the stink off of her from the garbage, she smells like Chanel number 9 or whatever it might be. What does it matter? Get over it. I mean, that's the way I look at this. They don't recognize that only 1 or 2% of men fit that category, so why would that man choose to be faithful for you or even choose you at all? And that's the point. Okay, so what do you... And one woman kept saying, and I can't remember, let me think how she said, I'm gonna provide inspiration. He goes, honey, I'm a successful rapper. I'm a multimillionaire. I got my own inspiration. I don't need you for inspiration. And she's like, yeah, but I'll bring more out of you. And he's just like going, you're stupid if you think that. He flat out told her, if you really believe that, you are stupid. Because you have nothing that I want. Your pussy's a dime a dozen. And I was like, man, he just put it about as good as he could put it. Here this chick is trying to say, well, I'm going to give up some of this, and you're going to be so lucky because I'm going to inspire you. And the guy's like going, honey, I got women throwing themselves at me. You know, I got too many. And this woman's like going, yeah, but they're not me. They're going to, okay. You know, and he finally just went, ugh. I thought it was funny as hell. You know, and he was a black rapper and she was a black chick, and he just totally shut her down. And I was loving it. I thought, man, if more, this is the thing, and I said this before, and I said it about coming to Thailand. Once that value of the triangle drops, and what I mean is, here, you just pay for it like you pay for, I hate to say this, you pay for it like you're going to 7-Eleven and you're buying a chocolate eclair. You pay for it. It's a product. It's a business. I mean, you know, it doesn't have to be that way. You could have a loving relationship with it. You know, like, you know, if you love your chocolate eclair or you like it so much, you can have the same thing with the girl. But the point is, you go, you pay for the product, you get out of Dodge. Okay, thanks, that was good. It's a dime a dozen. So what do you need her for? What does she have that's special? You know. And I think maybe that's something else you need. Listen, I told this story a while ago. I got a little story. It's an Alaska story. Some of you guys might have heard it already. I'm sure some have. But you know, I went to Alaska many years ago. And you know, a lot of the time I was out on a boat or I was in port, and one of the times I had to stop, and I was waiting for another boat. They were changing me from one boat to another, and so I had to wait. And it was like, well, we're not sure when the boat's going to come in. There was weather problems, all this. It was like 3 or 4 days I was going to have to be there. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll just, you know, hang out. They gave me, you know, I was in a bunkhouse. I was alone, and I had my own room or whatever. But you know, it wasn't luxurious. And I had gone out a few times just walking around. And, you know, one of the things is that you got to kind of be careful, because if you walk a little too far from the area of town, there were bears up on the hill and you could see them. They would go to where the garbage was and stuff. So you had to be very careful. But I would go out and walk around through the town, and there wasn't much to do. They had like a little restaurant, and I guess on the weekends they had live music. And so I go into the place, and the place is like empty, and you know, I get my food, talk to a couple people. Yeah, come back tomorrow. The place will be, you know, packed on the weekend. And I'll never forget it. You know, first of all, there was a few Thais and a few Filipino women in the place. And I was speaking to them, and they were not attractive. They were large. And you know, maybe they were hidden underneath all their clothing, but they just didn't look very good. But they were friendly, and so I was friendly to them, and I said a few words of Thai to them, and you know, the Filipino girls, I'd said, oh, I've been to the Philippines before, and so the next night I decided I'm gonna go to this place and see what it's like. I'm gonna go have a dinner, and I'm gonna maybe have a beer or two. And I go into the place, and it is packed. There is, you know, it was hard for me to get a seat. I finally get a seat. I sit down. I look over, and there's this dance floor. It's a small dance floor. I mean, it's, you know, I don't know, 15 feet by 15 feet, we'll say. And I look over, and there's these like 3 girls that I had met, and they're all dancing. And I noticed, I'm like, they were in their street clothes. I noticed, I was like, oh, sorry, but these are pigs. I'm like, these are pigs. These chicks are like pigs. They're just not. No, like, no. Oh, and their guys were out there. The guys were so desperate to try to get them to go with them that they were hanging on them like they were like Claudia Schiffer, or what's the other one, Giselle Bundchen, or there's some supermodel. And I thought, please God, never, ever let me be like that. Never let me be that desperate. And then, once I began spending more time here, I thought, hey, the thing is if you got some money, you don't have to be filthy rich. I mean, if you are, I'm sure that helps, and the quality of the attractiveness of the woman might go up. But if you got a bit of money, you shouldn't have any problem. You shouldn't be clamoring for them. Yes, this is Alaska that I'm talking about. And I also went. Another story that's closely related to this is, before I had gone out and started working in Alaska, before I had been hired and sent out, flown over to Alaska, and then they flew me on a helicopter to the ship and all this. Before all that happened, I was in Seattle, and I was working as a paper cutter, which was, I had skill in it because I was in the printing industry and everything, and I was making decent money, but it was a temporary job. So I was like, hey, I can make, $1,500 in 2 weeks, and they offered me, and I've said this before, they offered me a job in Portland, and I turned it down. I said, no, I can't. I just can't see myself in Portland, which was a good decision. In my opinion, it was a good decision. But I went into they had these little, I think it was a casino or something in Seattle. I don't know if it was a casino or a keno place or something like that. I go in, and the place is like empty. It was like 2 p.m. or something. There's nobody there. I walk up to the bar, I get a meal, and I have a beer, and then 2 girls walk up, and they were, they were like -1 on a scale of 1 to 10. They were just like, I'm like, I look over and I see these girls. I don't think a thing. I don't think, oh, they're not very good looking. I don't think a damn thing. I think I want to eat my food and drink my damn beer, because I was pissed off, because I was like, I'm working and I'm thinking, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? Do I really want to go to Alaska? Am I going to get hired? What's going to happen? Because I had known about it already. I'm sitting in this place, and one of the girls comes over and she said, you want to buy me a drink? And I said, no. She said, what are you, gay? Oh my God. And I was like, honey, I'm not gay. I just don't want to buy you a drink. What don't you understand, And she got kind of pissed. And I was like, what are you getting upset about? Why are you upset? I don't want to buy you a drink. I said, why don't you buy me a drink? And she laughed. And that's the thing. Hey, buy me a drink, honey. Why do I have to buy you one? I don't even know you, and I don't want to know you, and I don't give a shit about you. You want to know me that well, come up and say, hey, is there something I can get you? And then, they get me what I want, Western women are programmed to turn away from relationships. Women who want those sort of relationships are often shamed. Well, I got one thing to say. If they're that weak where they're going to be shamed about being in a relationship with somebody, then you don't want them. You really don't. I mean, if they really care that much about how what other people think because they ended up in a relationship. I'm not saying with any particular type of guy. I'm just saying they're in a relationship. Let's say that the relationship is a sound relationship. The guy's a good catch. and people are going to give her shit about it, then let them give them shit. Let her give them, let the people give them shit. Whenever their peers can give them shit, and tell them to fuck off. That's what you do. You tell them, you know what? I don't think you belong in my life. Get out. That's what you do. You say get out, Simple as that. If you could choose any artwork in the world that you could put on your wall, what would it be? No finance involved. I don't know, man. I mean, some of my own stuff, the Mona Lisa. I mean, that's a. I don't understand the purpose of that question, but I'm this propaganda to years and everything in a relationship. Of course, I'm able to collect Social Security. Not a relationship, a traditional relationship with traditional gender rules. Again, it doesn't matter. If you want to be a strong person, then their opinion of you really means nothing. It's not your job to be concerned about their opinion, which I learned that a while ago, and it's a great phrase. I don't believe there's this whole government conspiracy to break down the tradition. I mean, look at the number of single women out there. I mean, I don't think that's a good thing for families. And if there is one good thing about Thailand, is that the family is still valued. All right, it might not be as valued as it used to be, but it is still valued. And to me, it's extremely valued. Once you decide and you say, yes, I'm going to have a family, or yes, I'm going to be, a part of our family, then, it's a lifelong commitment. It's a blood bond, that kind of thing. It's like, when you cut your hand and you shake hands with somebody, it's the same thing. I don't know what Joan Miro means. Have Thai women attitude towards Western men changed, in your opinion, during your time living here? Yes, it has. Not completely, for sure. I mean, there are still plenty of women that are like, no, I don't want anything to do with the foreigner. And the possible exception would be if that foreigner is a very high-profile foreigner who has integrated with Thai society here, and they make a large sum of money, and the woman is fairly high-profile as well. Then maybe they would hook up. But there is a segment of the Thai population that they just don't want. They don't want to, they don't want to get involved with a foreigner. They're just like, Well, my children they're not being taught that. And I don't know why anybody would do that. You each have your roles, and you can. Those roles can vary from time to time, in my opinion. There's nothing wrong with the woman taking the garbage out sometimes. My wife does it. I do it. My kids do it. It's not about gender. It's about helping out. I don't do the laundry. My wife does the laundry. I don't do the dishes. The kids generally do the dishes, but she will do them. And to be honest, if there are dishes that, like, let's say that the sink doesn't have anything in it at all, and there's nothing, everything's been cleaned, put away, and I, get a plate of some noodles or something, and then I'm done, and I don't just throw it in the sink. I'll just wash it off. It's very simple. Well, that's what we're talking about, Jim. The fact that things are changing, and some of it's not this big conspiracy from the government, and some of it comes from the left and from the women, who are, they don't believe that they're getting their just due and all these kind of things. Do you have any plan leaving the hustle and bustle? And that's what I've been talking about. Yeah, I do. I do have a plan. There is a plan, just not sure where. But you know, I got kids in school, so that's pretty important. And yeah, it's important. I mean, that's the most important thing. Get them through school. Get them self-sufficient. All right, listen, guys. Please remember, we're at 95 minutes here into the stream. Leave a thumbs up if you like what we're talking about and you want to see more of these. If you want, send me an idea for a topic. You can leave it in the comments. But leave a thumbs up, subscribe, click the notification bell. I'm going to put the link up once. Well, actually, I can probably do it. I don't think I can do it yet. Let me see here. But share it if you would. I'd appreciate that very much. And remember that it's your contributions that they keep me coming back, because if I don't make anything, then I'm not coming back. It's as simple as that. And you know, you got to do what you got to do. I understand. And many of the people here are longtime subscribers. I appreciate that. And if you want to subscribe, you want to join and become a member of the channel, you can do so for as little as $1.99. You can join through Patreon. You can still send a PayPal. Everything's in the description. You can send a PayPal. You can send a, what is this? What's this thing called? Oh yeah, the Cash App, the Buy Me a Coffee. There's too many ways nowadays. The PayPal is going to go away in about a month, I believe. I don't know. I'm not sure yet, because I already verified everything, did everything I got to do, and I just want to make sure that that's still allowed here for me and my wife. But anyway, there's you can buy one of my books. I got 2 books. Get some merch. So there are a number of ways that you can help support the channel, and any support, I would appreciate it. So I do appreciate it. So thank you. Let's see here. I don't believe the left hand's into the distraction. I try to be more. I hate this phrase, woke. I can't stand it. And I hate this Me Too movement. Why is it all in the Me Too movement? Everything that happened 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Hey, honey, you want to be, you really want to show how much of a badass you are and how you really despise the person that did what they did to you? Do it right then, and continue to press on until somebody listens. I mean, I know I'm not the woman, I'm not there, and I know it's got to be hard, but that's the way you handle something. You don't just stop saying something and then 30 years later come out and go, well, now's the time is right. To me, that's just, I don't know, is it a publicity stunt? Is it something to make you feel better about what you say happened? I just don't think it's right, man. I enjoy listening to you, Scott, but you need a shave and a haircut. Yeah, okay. And what else you got to say? I'll tell you what, I'll come tomorrow. It's gonna cost you $500, but I'll come tomorrow and I'll be shaved, and my head will be shaved and my beard will be shaved. I don't need a manscape. Because I was planning on possibly shaving tonight or tomorrow. Honestly. And I've needed a haircut for quite some time, and Alex is going to school all the time, so I'm like, I'll do it later when he comes home, and then I don't do it. So that woman who had the beer poured over her didn't wait. She took. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to talk about. Thank you for reminding me. And you know what? I have the video right here. I have the video. Well, I think that chick sounded a little bit like she might have been drunk or something. And she didn't really hit the guy. She did throw some decent kicks, but she didn't really crack the guy, solid and like stagger him or anything like that. But how often do you or your wife cook? Who cooks more? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know really, to be honest. If I cook, usually I cook. If I'm cooking, I'll cook. Well, I mean, why would you do that? Why would you pour beer on somebody because they didn't want to clink glasses with you? That's just stupid. But yeah, who cooks more, me or my wife? I'd probably say my wife. Usually I'll cook an omelet for myself, but like I'll cook an omelet in the morning for breakfast. Sometimes she'll cook an omelet. I'll just go, she'll say, are you hungry? Yeah, a little bit. You want me to cook you up something? Can you make me an omelet? Yeah, and then we'll share it, if Alex is there, he and I will split the omelet, and he'll have it on rice, and usually I won't have the rice. But I mean, I'm perfectly capable of cooking, but I just don't want to sometimes, and sometimes I can just get something, like yesterday I had dim sum for lunch. Quick and easy, and with her, she cooks as she has time. So if she comes home and she's got plenty of time, she may stop at the grocery, get some stuff she wants to cook, and me and the kids have already eaten, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna cook this for dinner. I'm like, honey, wait for tomorrow, Gennaro is looking for her contact information now. Yeah, I don't know. Pretty stupid situation. That's one of those situations that didn't need to happen. And we're talking about how this. Okay, wait a minute. That's not it. Let's see here. We already went over to PayPal. Where is it? Man pours beer on woman who turns out to be a boxer. And they show a picture of this little guy trying to hold her back. And to her credit, she didn't hit him. She didn't go after him. A woman got into a street fight with a man who earlier poured beer on her because she declined to have a drink with him. These are both Thais, by the way. The fight was recorded on camera, and the video was widely shared on social media. That's the video I put up, the link I put up just now. Herploy Seia, 24, posted a video on her Facebook page and wrote that she was having dinner in Hue Quang District, Bangkok, on Monday night. The man then approached her, asking her to clink glasses with him, but she refused. About 5 minutes later, he came over and poured beer all over her while she was eating. The fight started by the roadside. If this happens to other women, they might choose not to respond. The guy's choosing the wrong person because I'm a boxer, she wrote. Now, a complaint had been filed against him with the Hue Quang police. Now, this is what I found kind of humorous. In the video, Perploy was seen punching and kicking the man and swearing at him. Although he did not fight back, he did not apologize for his actions. On Tuesday, the two reported to the police station. They settled the case by apologizing and paying 1,000 baht fine each. So she had to pay 1,000 baht and he had to pay 1,000 baht. Now, I don't know, is that offsetting? Well, you pay me 1,000, I pay you 1,000. Okay, even. We're even. Or is it 1,000 baht each to the police for going in there and wasting their time? According to media reports, the woman who became a professional Muay Thai boxer at a young age, since 2013, she had won several medals at the national level. She currently works as a trainer. Okay, so, don't pour any beer on women. If you get a little sauced and the girl decides to decline your advances, yeah, don't pour any beer over her head. Wouldn't be the wisest move. Will the Rams get a surprise? I got no opinion. I don't even know who's playing in the Super Bowl. Really, I am out of touch with the United States, and I want to be out of touch with the United States. But let me see here what I got left here with these articles. In conclusion, all right, we like this. This is just the summarized. This is a summary of everything I wrote here. Relationships in the past and relationships today have many similarities, but also many differences. Okay. Same, but different. Over time, the culture of relationships have changed from a respecting, loving, and long-lasting relationship into a short-lived physical lust for one another. I don't know where the hell they come up with this bullshit. That's not always true, and I think they're pushing the boundary there. But this is on Medium, so take it with a grain of salt. Family values back then were a strong foundation for a relationship, and the upkeep of a household versus today's relationships are based on sexual lust and attraction to one another. Let me see something here. Oh, it was written by a woman. Kirsten Holmes is her name. Oh, God. It looks like she's from South Africa. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, let me go on here. Let's see here. Where's it at? I have something else to read there, but what happened to it? Oh, well, she wrote this other one, Relationships Today versus... Oh, this is the one right here. All right, I got you. As a result of the media uprise, men and women have lost the acceptance of themselves today and feel they must be living up to society's expectations, unlike in the past when people had a monogamous relationship which gave them self-respect as well as the ability to respect each other. What is the hell is this lady coming up with? The media, listen, if women were self-conscious and had low self-esteem before, they're going to have even lower self-esteem now. And I would say that, yes, okay, social media is not great for some people. Their self-esteem takes a massive hit. Some women, they can't handle it, and that's why they're always using the filters, and they got to, oh my God, look at me. But the women who got a good head on their shoulders, they understand. Listen, this is not the end all. This is not my whole life. This does not make me a better person. And if people got a problem with me, fuck off. There are some women who still believe that, they believe, listen, if you really think like that, if you hate on me so much, or you think I'm that ugly, or whatever it might be, that's your problem. There are still women strong enough to feel that way, but this lady, I don't know what the hell where she's coming up with this horse shit. As a consequence of not taking relationships more seriously in our civilization, we have more broken households, toxic relationships, weak self-esteem, and a loss of respect towards those involved in the relationship. And with that, this is the result of the compliancy to divorce. It's our job to decrease the divorce rate and bring back loving, faithful, and meaningful relationships by honoring the relationship itself. It can create a renewed base for a healthy relationship. I'm Dr. Ruth. This is such a crock of shit. Really. I think, okay, broken households, that's a big deal. That really does matter. That's something that, let me see here. Yeah, I don't think you can say that. Middle-aged white men are evil. Well, I was told by a friend of mine who I've known for a long time. I haven't talked to him in a while, but I've known him a long time. In fact, he was the very first person I met when I came here. He told me, When you show your face to like some woman's family, or when you go into certain places, you will be viewed as the devil. You are evil because you are not like them, and they don't understand you. They don't understand why you think the way you do, why you have to use the bad words and do this and do that. And in one sense, okay, I get it, but you're just different. I mean, you could say the same thing about them if they go to the United States and they start doing cockfighting. People go nuts. So anyway, let me finish this up here because this is I mean, I'm looking at this here. It's as a consequence of not taking relationships more seriously in our civilization, we have more broken households. No, I think that the broken households, they happen because people get involved because all they want to do is fuck. And they don't have the brains or the foresight to think that, hey, if I put my dick in this chick and I'm not using a condom and she's not on birth control, we might have babies. And I don't want babies. That's what happens here in Thailand. Some guy's out in the village, he meets a girl, she's really cute, he's cute, they love each other. Oh, baby, will you show me? Show me you love me. Okay. And he, instead of him just putting a condom on, oh no, I don't want to do that, it's horrible. Instead of her getting on the pill and being adult about it, they don't think maturely. I mean, listen, I'm not saying that, you got to like it, that you got to do that, but you do. You want to be responsible? That's what being an adult is. You be responsible. And you don't knock her up. Things happen sometimes, I understand, but there's a lot of people out there. And, then you got the welfare state where you got people who are purposely having kid after kid after kid so that they can collect welfare and increase their welfare check. Toxic relationships, again, I think that comes from a lack of, maybe she's right, that comes from, just thinking about the lust and not the whole relationship. Weak self-esteem and a loss of respect. I think respect is given to those who deserve it and who believe that it needs to come in just about every case. You need to be respected. When you walk in through a door, you don't want somebody, how can I say this? When you come in through the door into a business, if they don't respect you, if somebody sticks their foot out and you trip over their foot and you don't even know them, you're like, what the hell? What is this? Well, I don't like you. I don't care about you. I don't respect you. So, well, what are you going to do? You're going to be like, I'm out of here. You got to have respect. You got to have respect in life. But, on the other hand, if someone asks you for your opinion and you give it to them and then they don't like it, they don't have the right to come back and go, oh, well, you said this and you said that. Oh, you're an asshole. Okay, maybe I am for saying it, but I'm just telling you, you ask what I want. Don't ask for the answer to your question unless you can handle it. I think that's another thing that, let's see here. Family values back then were a strong foundation for a relationship. And they should still be strong. That should be taught. That should be something that is very important. And I was really surprised that many years ago when, my mother met my wife's mother, and we all had, we had lunch or dinner or something, I don't know, we all hung out. And, they got along very well. I mean, Bo's mother didn't speak a word of English. But that was okay. We managed, and despite being very different, they respected each other. And my mother came to me and said, one thing I really like is that in Thailand, the value of the family is still there, whereas in the United States, a lot of it is broken down, and this has come from any number of reasons, but maybe the whole, the whole sex before marriage thing, and picking your partner based upon certain criteria, that's kind of fallen by the wayside. And now it's just like, do I like how you look? Do you got money? Yes. Okay, I'll bang you. Sometimes I think, a little bit shallow, isn't it? Anyway, listen, there's not a whole lot of people talking. Not a lot of I thought there'd be a lot more comments for this subject, especially considering how I think it's important to the men in the chat, and also if there's any women, the few women that watch, I would think that this is something important for people. Important, and we can look at it and have a little chuckle here and there. Speaking of Chuckles, Chuckles is gone now. He has flown out. He's on his way back to America. So, no more Chucky in Thailand. Break time. Intermission. Let's take an intermission. Surprise, Democrats are for abortion. Governments need the family, leading to kids, future votes, and taxpayers. It's a cycle that needs to continue to keep society's governments afloat. It's a huge pyramid scheme. Well, I'm surprised you care about that, or that you think about that, knowing how you are. And I've gotten to that point where, I've gotten to the point now where, hey, whatever happens in America is going to happen. I'm not worried about it anymore. I don't live there. I don't want to live there. I never want to live there again. I'm going on 60. Maybe, if I'm lucky, I got 25 years left. All right, that's that would be nice. Maybe it'd be nice. I don't know. Depends on how I'm faring. Maybe it's only another 10 years, maybe 12 years, maybe it's a year. But I just think about it and I think, what? Why do I care? I don't give a shit anymore. Let them ruin the culture. And it pains me to say that as an American, but you know what? I cannot let that be something that worries me. And I was talking to Patsy and Bob yesterday, and I said, and he said that he thinks it has to do with age. That the older you get, you narrow down what's important, and there is really not that much that's important. Stuff is not that important. Certainly, stuff is not important to me. As long as I have the stuff that is necessary for me to be able to live a certain standard, of living, and so. That's about it. I mean, okay, clothes. Listen, if I need something that I don't have when it comes to clothes, I'll go out and buy it. If it's something expensive, maybe it'll hurt a little, for a bit. Maybe I won't really want to get it, but I'll get it. But there's very little when it comes down to it. You go, hey, and I did hear something said several times. You come in with, it's just you. It's your body. That's it. That's how you come in, and that's how you go out. Now, you may leave something to your family and, those kind of things, but for the most part, you can't take it with you. And so, I've just got to that point where I'm like, what's going on in America? It's sad, and it is a bit crazy. I never thought I would see it. I remember, when I was a kid, I was 14 years old on July 4th, 1976. I was 14 years old. And I remember sitting on the lawn and watching the fireworks and, talking about the 4th of July. I was so proud. That was the 200th anniversary, of the United States independence. And, I was so proud. And now, I'm still proud of some of the things that have happened and that happened in the United States. But I don't ever want to live there. I don't ever want. Would I go there? Yeah, I'll go there for a couple of months. Maybe I would live there for 3 months or 6 months if necessary. But my point is, it's not important what's going on there. For the most part, it's just not important. It's not that important to me. And as I was saying to Bob, the only thing important is my family and my friends. We got food? Yeah. We got the refrigerator's full. Okay. Everything paid for? Yeah, okay. All right, what are we worried about? And I don't, I'm not trying to be flippant. Not in the least. Yeah, I don't know. But I certainly don't really care much about America. And it's great when some good things happen. I like to see that. But I just don't care. I just don't care anymore. I'm apathetic about America now. I'm just so sick of everything that's gone on. And I hope that never happens with this place. And I go back and forth. I have my good days and my bad days. I have days when I'm like, this place, it's going to hell in a handbasket. Then I have days that I wake up and I look up and I go, wow, look at the sky. Oh, man. And then I'm like, I see something that came out and it's positive. And I'm like, hey, believe me, this place ain't that bad. And I'm very grateful to be here. And like we always say in this stream, the whole attitude of gratitude and all that kind of stuff. Just understand that, and I'm sure there's a lot of people in here that have done some traveling and they don't know what I'm talking about, but you go somewhere and there are people that are far, far worse off than you. And they're happy. And somehow they manage even with whatever country they're in. And I've been in some shitty countries. Places with shitty governments. Let's put it that way. And yet the people are happy. So, like Longhorns was saying earlier, don't watch the news. Try not to watch the news. Look at the headlines every other day. Look at the headlines, every 3-4 days. Man, it makes a world of difference. Social media is creating shallow individuals with no substance of importance. Are you planning on getting Social Security payments in the coming years? Then the things that are happening in the United States will affect you. Well, yeah, I am planning on it because, it's my right. And if things go south with that, then I'll have to deal with it. That's all. But, somehow I think that there's going to be listen, if they do away with Social Security in the United States, like on the spur of the moment, they go, oh, no more payments. That place is going to erupt. That's the only thing I can think. That is not going to bode well. That is the United States even getting closer to the end then when that happens. And I understand it could happen, but I wouldn't say that it's inevitable. You can only do so much with politics. The rest is stress. Know who your representatives are and hold them accountable. Yeah, and for the most part, I don't really give a shit who my representatives are. I mean, yeah, I do when it comes time to voting and when I look at things. I do look at things and try to, gauge what's going on. And I know certain names that have been around for a while. But yeah, I'm just apathetic when it comes to it now. I'm just. And Frampton comes alive? Oh, that was 76. Goodbye, Yellowbrook Road, Elton John. I was potty trained by 76. There we go again. SSI should be good for your generation. I hope so. I know exactly how much I'm supposed to get, and I know when if I take it at this point or that point, full, half, I know. Yeah, that already happened, and yeah, so that's good, whatever. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be, that means Social Security for everyone's going to be fantastic, but listen, every little bit helps offset inflation and everything else that's going on. So, and of course, yeah, that matters. When it comes to the United States, that matters. But my point is, for the most part, if you live in a foreign country, there are things you're always going to have to be concerned about in your own country. But when it comes to, you can't control it. All right, you keep an eye on it so you know, this is how this guy thinks. I don't want to vote for this guy. That kind of thing. Yeah, okay, I understand that. I'm not trying to totally write off the United States. But what I mean is, sometimes it's better to stick your head in the sand. Getting signed up for Social Security is a fuster clock. Take it at 67. Let's see here. Yeah, what are your thoughts on traditional relationships versus modern relationships? I really want to hear your thoughts and opinions on this. Well, what I'm going to say about that is, I think for some people they have a different definition of what a relationship is. I know what it is to me, and I'm comfortable with it. And you know what? That's another thing. When you get older, that's why you don't give a fuck about what people think or what they say. And when you're young, I think it's difficult because you have all that peer pressure. So, think about it. You're in high school and you like some girl in high school, and everybody's like, oh my God, she's not pretty enough for him. But he really likes the way she looks, and he likes the way she thinks, and if he's a strong guy, he's not going to dump her because of what these people think. Now, when you're younger, I think it's harder because, you don't have the experience to draw upon. Don't know about what you're talking about. I signed up for 62 from Thailand using Social Security and PI. Took 30 minutes, no effort. First check, exactly as expected to USA Bank. My parents died too soon. Uncle Sam won that hand. Yeah, that sucks. Patsy Bob, what it be like? What's happening? He was discussing about how we were talking about how, while it does pay to care about things that matter to you in the United States, like Social Security and what's going to happen with that, stocks and bonds, the market, that kind of stuff. Okay, granted, that's important. However, all the politics and everything else, it's just not important. Oh, Gennaro, thank you. Thank you as always, Gennaro. Choke D, I appreciate it. You are the first of the day, the very, very first. So thank you very much, Choke D, Leo Chuck and Mike. No, Choke D. Choke D, Choke D. Good luck for you all the day. There's a reason why I'm streaming more often now. Okay? And I hope, here's the thing. I'm trying to I really need you guys' help, especially the core guys, If you got subjects you want me to get into, and listen, I may not know anything about it, but we can discuss it in the chat in a civil manner. By all means, send, whatever. Some of you email me, message me, do whatever you can, just leave a comment. I have another topic, about women being friends that was suggested by Patia Bob, and I think that's a pretty good one as well. And there are several topics that I have coming up, but the channel is gone. It's on a little bit of a roll. It's a slow roll, and it goes forward and then back and then back and then forward, but then it goes forward again, and I want to keep that going. So, oh, by the way, I gotta say that, let's see here if I can bring it up here. I did that little video the other day about the ice cream, the chili paste pork ice cream. And I'll be honest, I thought, hey, this is gonna do really well. I thought this is gonna be a great video. Now, great for me, I have low expectations. I've tempered my expectations. But this is the absolute worst that any video has done. And what that does, first of all, just saying that it has nothing to do with the video, which I don't know if that's true or not, or me. I'm gonna say this. Perhaps the idea of a chili paste ice cream with shredded pork is so nasty that no one gives a shit and no one wants to look at it. And I mean that from, with all sincerity. It might be so nasty that no one cares, And I don't blame him, because when I saw it, I thought that's exactly what I thought. I thought, you gotta be kidding me, man. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I understand the whole not wanting to eat it. Yeah, that's the link to the ice cream video. Please check it out if you haven't already. At least take a look at it. It's only like a 3-minute video or some 5-minute video. It's not real long. You're not going to piss away a lot of your time. If anything, you'll see the ice cream that you don't want to eat. You might be surprised, though. Yes, true, Longhorns. Let me see this here. Every financial planner I spoke to said take Social Security at 62 because the chance of death between 62 and 67 is 58% greater than before 62. I did not know that. Politics is a show. Banks and large corporations are the real government. The burden is the regular people take the power back. Like the truckers are going on strike. Yeah, I need to look into that more, to be honest, because I do tend to put my head in the sand. Take power back, you mean we had it before. Haha, agreed about the ice cream. Andy seemed to like it. Yeah, he liked it. It was all right. Like I said, it was all right. And I mean, it definitely was not bad. It was actually pretty good. I mean, once I got the flavor, the initial flavor hit me. It was kind of whoa. And then it was like, okay, let me have a couple more bites. And then I was like, hey, this is all right, because the flossy pork, the shredded pork, is, like I said yesterday, is really tasty. It's quite good. Oh God, why do you write in Thai, man? Lanakan, God damn it, I can't read this fast enough. Oh, you fucking idiot. Actually, what's so funny is that so many people think they know what's going on and they don't know shit. They're just fucking morons who are dreaming. Oh well, it's too bad. You're taking the piss. You're gone. Sorry. I don't know you, and you're gone. Goodbye. I'll tell you what I'll do. There we go. Fucking guy. He writes in Thai that all I do is sit here and drink water, which is not true. It's never true. I already had a and can help you. Shit happens at lightning speed. I asked for help once and the problem was solved the next day. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yes, I believe that is true, especially if you contribute to a campaign. People forget they all have an office you can go to. I don't forget, but I don't live there. So, obviously I'm in a little bit different predicament, or position rather. See, people forget it was a Democrat, Katya Bob. Wow. The reps for LVNV were never in office, but the aides did great work. Yeah. Yes, I talked to one of their assistants. Well, there you go. Now I have a little more faith. I wonder if it works that way here in Thailand. Now, I don't know if you remember, but when I went to Bangladesh, and there was this guy who was, what the hell was he doing? It was for something about malaria. They wanted him to cure the malaria or solve the malaria or get people, get them their medicine for malaria or something like that. I don't know if you guys remember, I'm sure some of you do, where they were doing this big, I thought it was a protest at first, and I was streaming. And then they found out that I was an American, and of course they're all like, "Oh, you CNN?" I was like, "No, I'm not CNN." And I went into one of the politicians' offices, and when I said, "So why is there such a problem with the malaria?" and the first thing he said was, "There's not a problem with malaria," but there was, at least by the statistics that I had pulled up. There was a problem with it, and there is a problem apparently. I don't know if there still is because it's been a couple of years, but all right. Let me see here. I gotta say that this last sentence in this, what was written by this lady about the relationship thing, not to drone on about it. It's our job. Whose job? No, it's a responsibility to decrease the divorce rate. And it's your responsibility in your own way. You're one person. You do what you can so that you don't get divorced. You do as much as you can and you hang in there. That's what you do. And you try to work it out. What does it say? Okay. It's our job it's our job. It's our responsibility. That's what I say. To decrease the divorce rate and bring back loving, faithful, and meaningful relationships. Like, that doesn't happen now. There's no loving, faithful, and meaning relationships. That's all, like, in the past. This is such bullshit, this article. By honoring the relationship itself, it can create a renewed base for healthy relationships. Okay. Anyway, enough of that stuff. I think we're all tired of talking about that. Patsy Bob, tell us about it. Tell us about your relationships. Tell us about your view on relationships. What's your view? Are you of the opinion that now you just screw them and leave them, or what's the deal? Or you get married to them? It's strange. They open up the door now before 11 o'clock, and yet the mall is not open. So maybe he just wanted to avoid people trying to walk out and they couldn't get out. Well, it's a very short relationship. All right, we're back in business. I think Patsy Bob is gone. He's moved on. Anyway, one thing that is for certain, the way that relationships used to be back in the 1800s, 1900s, is not the same as it is now. And in another 25 years, who knows what relationships are going to be like? Who knows what they're going to look like? I still think there's plenty of men and plenty of women who they enjoy being married. I mean, you know, I always found dating and you know, sometimes juggling women and sometimes just being in a dry spell and like just hanging out with my buddies or whatever. You know, like after a while it was kind of like, yeah, okay, it can be great, but you know, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Marriage is not for everybody. That's what I will say. Bob knows he wants an hour, sticks to it. Kind of like I stick to an hour and a half stream. Is that what you're insinuating? Not hour? Well, I don't know. Maybe he wants an hour and that's all he wants. That's quid pro quo. Okay, I got you. Anyway. Gennaro's gone to bed. Chuck's on his way flying. Andy's out and about. Monash has dropped off. He's probably working. I don't know where... Oh, what is this? That guy was a total douche. I thought that was me who just handled that. Admit the hour. Bob knows what he wants, sticks to it. Yeah, like I said, just like me. I want an hour and a half stream, I stick to it. Anyway, listen, it's 11 o'clock. I got things to do. People to see today. Unfortunately. Places to go, things to do. You know, all that stuff. So, I think it's about time to wrap it up. And, let's see here. Yeah, the kids are going back to school now. They're all in school. They still are doing some online stuff. So that hasn't turned into 100% in-person schooling here. I don't know why. I don't know if it's going to change when the next semester starts. But things are starting to slowly but surely lighten up, loosen up, and hopefully things will just keep getting better here. And they'll just, we can learn to live with it. We can remove all restrictions remove the shackles, and we can move forward. To some people, a traditional relationship equates or equals having shackles or being shackled. And for others, it means, like I said, and I've said this many times, you hook up with the wrong girl and it's your future ex-wife. And if you're in America, you better hope you got someone helping you. My friend has been back home. The situation with the kidneys is now terminal. No shit. That's horrible, man. Yes, if you can show you do vote every year for the state and 4 years for Fed election, even from Thailand, they do pay attention. Well, I can, so, it's good, I guess. It's good to know. If I ever need, if I need anyone's help, I can contact them, Her relative, oh, really? No shit? Oh, man, that's terrible. So is she there now? She's like with her, or what's the deal? Oh yeah, sure, your friend's back home. Okay, I saw it. Well, I guess the only thing is that she gets to spend some time with her, That's the other thing, and that's one of the reasons. I don't mean to sound apathetic about things to people, especially about a country, my country, the country I was born and raised. But life is short, man, and you never know when it's going to be done with, and so you better enjoy it as much as you can. Which is sometimes easier said than done, but. That's why, maybe I'm a fatalist, but I always think to myself, how much longer do I got? I don't know. Could be a month, Could be 10 years, could be 30. I don't know. And you never know. Been there. She always has to take care of everything. People don't realize how much these young Thai girls have to do with, be responsible for. Yeah, I saw it with my wife and her mother. And it was horrible, man. It was horrible. And, they all look to her. They look to her because, you have the Farang husband. They look to her because she's the educated one. She's the one who, in their eyes is doing so well. And it was hard on her. And, I will say this, that she's strong, My wife is really strong, man. And I don't know, some women are, some women aren't, but I was kind of amazed, The Book of Bob. Yeah, there are some. Listen, there are the cons, the ones who, everything is about just bullshitting their way to, getting a bunch of guys on the hook or something like that. And there are the ones that, they're literally struggling and fighting and taking care of things that would, no matter who it is, it's going to drain them. And wear on them. And so, when it comes to Thais are really strong, man. They really are. I have an entire view on relationships. It's all published in the Book of Bob. One day I'll point you to the book. I add it routinely online. Yeah, I would like to see that. Sequel to the Book of Eli, movie soon to come. Longhorns, hi, back again. Andy, what's happening? Yeah, I would imagine so. What's going on, Andy? What's today? Today's the 9th. I didn't leave. Jim Y was asking lots of questions offline. Yeah, I didn't see them. I don't know. Maybe he's contacting you privately. I don't know, but I didn't see anything in line because I don't have my line open. But nope. So it must have been just to you. I got a message from the Summer Bowl. Summer Bowl and tag. What was that? An hour. I would prefer minute by minute pricing. It would be more efficient and cheaper for me. Yeah, tell me about it. I'm on the river, Vivi coffee place. Oh, okay. I saw something the other day, and I thought, I gotta go. You know what it was is over there by the Chow Phraya is that Sarni's that Longhorns and I went to. I need to go back there. And I just have been, there's part of me and I'm like, I'm kind of lazy. And I understand I'm lazy when it comes to traveling around because it's a pain in the ass to go around. Andy's on, holiday. So, okay, he's been looking forward to this and looking forward to this. So I gotta be in the right frame of mind. I haven't been in the right frame of mind lately, for this, to be traveling around and going places. I just don't want to deal with this shit. Listen, I woke up this morning, or when I went out this morning from my house today, I get this motorbike driver, and I was thinking to myself, put my mask on, I don't want any shit from anybody. I'm reaching in my pocket, I can't get my mask out. Finally, I just went, fuck, tired, man. Yeah, okay, if I would pull it out if I had to. But like I'm on the back of a motorcycle, I'm like, it's not the most important thing. So I left it off. I'm like, enough already. And that's what it is. I get worn down by this shit. I'm so sick of it, what's going on here. Buy me a coffee if you go back. Just let it sit across from you like I'm there. Yeah, all right. I'll go soon. I'll get back out there soon, but I just, I got too many things to take care of right now between the kids, my boys, and, just everything else. Traditional relationships and the such. I'm going to check out the new Garden Sky Bridge soon. Yeah, well, have fun. Let's see. There was something I was going to do over there. I've been meaning to do it. I got a list of things that I want to go do. As apathetic and unmotivated as I may be at some time, listen, I do wake up early for the stream and do a little research and, come up with these articles and stuff like that. I'm not completely lazy. But when it comes to going out and sitting in traffic, for me, that is the big pet peeve right now. That and pollution here. Pollution is nasty in Bangkok. Traffic is nasty. And, I bitch about the noise pollution, but the noise pollution comes last. It's not that bad when I get home. Best Starbucks Americano, Bangkok Hospital in Pattaya. I don't know. I've been to freaking 100 different Starbucks, at least in Thailand. I don't know which one has the best espresso. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. I've drinking so many damn espressos, I don't remember one from the next, to be honest. I remember the ones that were really bad. Their thing could be your, you mean think he could be the last? Because the baristas there think could be your last. Was I the first Thailand vlog? I have no idea. I don't think so. I don't think I was, but I don't know. I don't know. And you know, there were a couple. There's been a couple that have been around for a while. But I don't know, because I don't really look. I never have really looked at the vlogging scene in Thailand all that much. Even when I started, I had been here for a long time, so I just wasn't that interested, you know. And maybe I should be, you know, maybe, but stopping at a few temples. Well, you lost me there, Andy. You lost me at the temples. I'll tell you, going down the Chao Phraya is nice, though. And I can only imagine how the electric boats are, you know, and I'm looking forward to that. There is something else I want to do, but that's that may be a while. It might be a while before they open up again, this place that I want to use. This service, it's a tour service, and it could be pretty interesting, but I don't think they're I don't know if they're still going to be in business, but I'll have to check it out. He didn't even know that there was water there, that there was a water market where people could eat, and he didn't even know. So I don't think it's open. He didn't see it. He didn't, you know. He took a golf cart too. I understand. You're not here for. Let's see here. What is it? Beaches. What is it? What did I say? Booze, beaches, and broads. And you're really here for. Really, none of them. You're here for the temples and for the sightseeing. Go to a McDonald's. Get yourself a pork chili ice cream. Pork with chili paste ice cream. Go get yourself one of those. Get your own. It's not spicy. How do I know Norwegian polar bear? Fuck. I'm gonna say Ali. It's not spicy, that's the thing. Not spicy at all. I'm saying Ali because Ali was able to go down and get up. Ali was able, he showed that he was able to persevere, and Tyson really did not. And that's the reason why I give him the nod. Now, you know, who knows? Anything could have happened. And also that Ali was much much more elusive than anybody that he fought in his early career, than Tyson fought in his early career. So. Anyway, well, you can have some Longhorns when you get here. I'll make sure that I get you one. Everybody try that. Listen, if I had it my way, I'd get it. You know, if 10 people came, I'd give them the ice cream. I go, here you go. Try this. Let me know what you think. And I bet at least half of the people would say they liked it. Or that it was decent. You know, they might not have loved it. Listen, it ain't the same as pralines and cream or caramel and cream or something like that. It's not the same. I understand. But what are you gonna do? Anyway, listen. This stream has seen better days now. It's going downhill fast. Oh, I was referring to Andy at the Ancient City. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to step on the conversation. I should have known. What is this with people? They think that all Thai food is spicy. That really, how can I say this properly? Where I want to be polite. I don't want to get carried away. There are a number of dishes that you can have that are definitely not spicy, nowhere near spicy. Now, a lot of the dishes will put spices on the side, or they will just give you they'll give you like some chili with a little chili with water. They'll give you some sugar. They'll give you some red pepper, and they'll give you some fish sauce. You can add it as you want, right? Or you get the cow camu. You know, they give you chilies with garlic on the side. You don't have to add it. So all Thai food is not spicy, and khao man gai is not spicy at all. What are you talking about? You don't even have to have a spice on it. It's just a fried chicken or just a boiled chicken on top of rice. There's no spice on it. You can put the spice on it if you want. Gai yang, mu ping, definitely not spicy. Khao tam, not spicy. What the hell am I thinking of? Kuitio. It's as spicy as you want to make it. You want to put spices in, you put spices in it. I kind of figured, but I never know with you. You know, I mean, really. Even pad see ew, you don't have to have spices. There's so many dishes you don't have to put spices in. They don't have to be the least bit spicy. That's my point. Khao tam, joke. No spices, none. Well, Patsy Bob, noise pollution also goes away when you go into your house and you go into the back area of the house and the neighbors are fairly quiet and you don't hear the motorcycles that are out in the front. So I had Chinese meal last night, not spicy. Ugh. You sided with China? Come on. Stick with the Thai, Andy. You don't want it spicy, just tell them you don't want it spicy. Look for a dish that's not spicy. Look for a rice dish. Fried rice, not spicy. Fried rice with chicken and egg, not spicy. Very easy. So easy. Oh, my friend, he no like spice. He no like spicy. Norwegian polar bear. Aren't you in like Finland or somewhere like Norway? Sorry, what am I thinking? Norwegian polar bear. Duh. Norway. Yeah, maybe to you like anything that has a little pepper on it is spicy, but really there are so many meals that you can have here that, and that's such a. It kind of is a disservice to Thai food because people think it's always spicy. Just like, oh, Thailand is all it is a country with, with prostitutes. That's what the whole country is. It's the same thing. Like Thailand, it's only spicy food. No, there's, and I'll tell you what, I just have not liked spicy food lately. And I'm talking about like in the last couple of years, I have not been eating spice. Ever since those videos, I don't know what happened, but I just got to the point where I was sitting there and I was like, I don't have to put spice on this. I don't want it. I don't feel like having my stomach torn up from the spices, or I don't want a little bit of an upset stomach. And I don't get spicy food that much anymore. If you're there homeless in a very quiet neighborhood, yeah, I say that. Okay, better get going later, folks. All right, Andy, don't get into trouble. Stay out of trouble. I'm sure you can do that. Asking for 0 stars at some food court or some food stall. You just say, my pet cup, that's all. It's very simple. You don't, the whole, I've never said 0 stars. I've never said that. In America, maybe they have that. I don't know. Or wherever. I don't know. Maybe they have it. But in Thailand, never have I said that. And in fact, the only one who has the whole grades of spice is, what's his name? Pet Mark. And I don't even remember. It was like really, really spicy. Spicy. A little bit spicy. And when I went to this cooking class here in Bangkok with my family, and the lady goes, listen, it's not that difficult. You get the spices, you put them on the side, and then you add them to taste. It's very simple. Okay, Andy. Stay safe, stay well. Yada, yada, yada. Put on your sunscreen. We're almost at the end here. We got a few minutes left. Don't forget to click the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I found that as a foreigner, even when I ask for spicy, he tends not to make it very spicy. They know we don't realize what we're asking for. Well, if I tell them that, if I get pissed when I tell them to make it spicy and they don't make it spicy. Zoom, gone. I don't understand. What is that? Man, it is so frustrating to be here at Starbucks. I'm going to bitch today. I'm going to say something because the manager's here. I'm going to say, why is it that the internet is always so bad? It's really, really slow. All the time. Every single time I'm here. I mean, get it right, man. For the money you pay for a coffee here, and for their food, which isn't all that good, they could have better internet. Well, I mean, I've asked for it before, and sometimes I've been like, oh, that's pretty spicy. But most of the time I'm like, and I forget where it was, when I was having I think it was the curry. And I was like, yeah, give me the spiciest one. They gave me the very spiciest one. There was like different levels. And they gave me the spiciest one that I could have. And I'm like, This is not spicy. I was pissed. I was like, what was the problem? But I think they didn't give me the spiciest one. I think they were like, oh, this guy's a foreigner. He doesn't know what he's getting into. And that's something else that, I never say anything about that. Do you do any dating at all, Niall? Besides do you have a girlfriend now, or is she your girlfriend? I don't know. I'm not up on your relationship status. My internet is so freaking bad here. I gotta say something. If he comes over here, I'm gonna say something to him. I'm just gonna say, why is it so slow all the time? Every day it's really slow. And even Soy Dog Cowboy was telling me, yeah, when you go to Starbucks, their internet is dog shit. And in Thailand, they have great internet. That's the thing, and it's cheap. Apparently not cheap enough for Starbucks, because they have to pad their revenue more. Yeah, it's just not working. It's really bad, man. All right, let's try to restart here. This way I can see what's going on here in the. All right, is that gonna work? Ugh. I don't want to. That's a pain in the ass. It's like, listen, if I complain, give me a little complaint form, and then send it in. Like that's really gonna work. Yeah, I'm gonna show you something. That's how slow it is. It's not even loading the page. It won't even load the page. So I gotta go back here. Let me see here. I only date women that have been transitioned to men. Oh, Niall. So, well, let me see here. Women that transition to men. No, I guess that wouldn't be Caitlyn Jenner then. Oh, it's just such a headache. Yeah, it's not working. Anyway, whatever. I'll just do it on my phone. Complained to corporate. The last time I complained to corporate was because the card didn't, my Starbucks card didn't load the funds that I had put on here in person. And so they were like, well, you're going to have to wait 4 to 7 days or something like that. And I'm like, what? I just put the money on right now. I got the receipt. Whatever. There are worse things in life than having to worry about shitty internet. But I wish he'd walk over here so I could say something. Yeah, it's really slow. Maybe I should just yell at Preo. Just yell at her. Niall, you like them women who have walked in the wild side? In the wild side or on the wild side? That's a little too crazy for me. But have at it. I'm just really conservative, Let me see if this will load here. Doesn't really matter. That's fine. All right, so let me try this once again. These type of women know what men want. Have at it, man. Listen, just leave me in my little comfortable, very conservative marriage. Leave me in that. I don't have a problem staying in that by myself. It's fine. I don't need all that. They gotta know me. No. It's a little too crazy for me. me see if I can get one of them over here. It's really, I don't understand it. I don't know why is it such a problem to get internet in Starbucks. Not that I want to whinge about it. Preo.ก็ดูนะก็ connect ไม่ได้เวลา connect ก็มีปัญหาทุกวันนะ อินเทอร์เน็ตที่นี่ก็ไม่ค่อยดีนะทำไมไม่เป็น Starbucks นะผมรู้คนทำอะไรไม่ได้แต่
มันเป็นของ AIS
เป็น AIS ช้ามากนะStarbucks ไม่อยากใจอ่ะ
ที่ร้านก็ใช้ของ AIS เหมือนกัน
เหรอ
ใช่ค่ะใช้กันเดียวกันเลยช้ามากทำอะไรไม่ได้
พวกเราโหลดไม่ได้นะรถธรรมดาก็มีที่นี่ก็มี text มีทุกอย่างใช่ไหมทีนี้จะไม่โชว์รู้แล้วแต่บางทีเขารู้ไหมเขารู้ว่าอินเทอร์เน็ตที่นี่ก็ทุกคนก็เขาพูดไหมคนเยอะก็พูดไหม
มันเป็นบางวันนะคะหรือว่าคุณก็เจอทุกวัน
วันนี้ก็ทุกวันแต่วันนี้ก็ช้ามากOkay. She's like, yeah, we're aware of it. It's very slow. It's very slow. She's like, it's always slow. It's slow for us. I'm like, well, stupid frying element. No, I did tell her. I go, I know it's not. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with her. She didn't do anything. It's a freaking. It is corporate. They refused, and she's, you know, she did say it's AIS, and we know it's very slow. And I said, do people complain about it all the time? And she said, some days a lot of people complain. Sometimes people complain. Sometimes, you know, sometimes it's okay, which is. I wasn't gonna say anything today about it because I just thought, you know, this is how it is. But like, you know, that you used to have to pay here. I don't know if you guys remember that. There was a time when you would have to pay. Every hour was 150 baht here at Starbucks, and that was a couple of years ago. It wasn't all that long ago. It keeps out the non-paying customers. Well, apparently I'm a non-paying customer. I never pay for anything here, which is ridiculous. I spend too damn much money here, and that's why I try not to come here that much. It's just like you and Sarni's. You know what it's like. Especially if you decide, I don't sit here and decide I'm gonna eat all their shit food. I might have a croissant. Once in a great while, I might have a crab, whatever you want. And once every 6 months, I might have one of their foo-foo drinks. The rest of the time, I drink water and coffee and maybe a croissant, and that's about it. But, you know, every day, that adds up. So I kind of expect there to be halfway decent internet. And it's a cafe. That's uncalled for now. Nowadays, if you got a coffee shop, you damn sure better have decent internet. I still want to go down, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe tomorrow or the next day, whenever I stream again, I kind of feel like Lou Gehrig now. I feel like I want to see how many days I can go in a row without missing a day. If you young whippersnappers don't know who Lou Gehrig is, it's not the guy who the disease was named after. It was a baseball player, the Iron Horse. But there is a coffee shop. It's fairly close to my house, but it's a different kind of place, and it was there's two of them, and my wife said the one place, if I was doing what I'm doing right now, they would ask me to leave. They'd be like, you can't speak. They don't want anybody talking. And that was the place where the internet, it was like, no, we don't have the internet here. And then she said that she ordered something and she was waiting and waiting or something like that. And then the lady gave her a dirty look and she was just like, you know, what the fuck? I don't need to be here. So she went to another place that's across the street. And that place opens, I think, at 8. And I haven't been there. And so I may start going there just for something different. I don't know. We'll see. But this still hasn't loaded. Look, still the same way. And it is supposed to load. So anyway, enough about that. Harping on and on about it. Let me see if I could see what I'm looking at here, because the page would load. I'd be a lot better off. Let me see here. Yeah, it won't load. Okay, here it comes. Maybe it'll load. Let's see. There we go. All right, now we go. Stupid Farang. Somehow I don't think she's thinking that. It's not like I bitch that much about the stuff. Keep something on my. Luckily, my hotel Wi-Fi reaches Sarni's. Yeah, that was funny. Longhorns, yes, Starbucks router actually limits the bandwidth to each customer and slows it down more bandwidth you consume. Well, there you go. So now you know why, because I'm sitting here streaming. But the only thing is I'm not uploading anything. I'm downloading thing. I'm downloading. Now it's showing up again, so I'll show you something. Let me see something. Let's see. You can see it now. And it is working, but this is on Chrome as opposed to Safari. The Russians are coming. The Russians are coming. The Russian bots are coming. The Russian bots are coming. Let me see something here. Did I miss something here? How much is a large latte? It's about two. That's about what it is. I don't know. Let me find out. Well, you know, like large. Which one is it? You got to say the right. You got to use the proper terminology. Tall, grande. What is it? Tall. I don't even know. That's how little I buy those drinks. There's like the small, tall, grande, and what's the other one? Let me take a look. Curious to know. Maybe I can see. Let me see. Oh, I don't have the right glasses for that. Okay, cafe latte. Okay, there's tall, grande, and venti. A cafe latte is 140 baht. That's a grande. A venti is 155 baht. So maybe it's a bit cheaper than Dubai. Yeah, the big one is 155 baht. Yeah. I mean, you know, that's like, listen, that's $5. $5 for a coffee? I mean, really, when you think about it, it's like that $5 for a coffee in Thailand is expensive. And you know, my kid says to me the other day, because I said to him, I said, you know, I'm really a little bit tired of using Starbucks all the time. I want to go to some other cafes, but I don't want to go all the way across town. I don't want to sit on the freaking taxi. I don't want to go on a bus or, the boat, and I always have to do that shit. It's, maybe that's a sign of my age. I don't know. But he goes, oh, why don't you just go to the Cafe Amazon? They're all over the place right around our house. And I'm like, the problem with the Cafe Amazon is they're just not very comfortable. And their coffee is like, it's like it's like, listen, I buy cheap coffee for my house. I usually have cheap coffee and I have a decent, like a good coffee. So like I might have some Sarnies, or I might have one of the ones like that Jono said, which I liked. Or I might have had, I might have some Segafredo or Illy or something. I might have some of that laying around, and then I have my everyday stuff. And that stuff is pretty inexpensive. Well, that's what the Cafe Amazon is. It's just an inexpensive kind of, yeah, I don't know about the 7-Eleven. I mean, I'd say it's comparable to Starbucks. I would give it that. I'll give you that. But other than that, I don't know. I mean, I'm not convinced by the what is it? All That Coffee, or what's the brand that they use in there? They have a little name for their coffee shop. All That Cafe or something like that. I can't remember what it is. Here we go, I can see again. The local coffee shop 1 block away here charges about $3.50 for an Americano that tastes good, but that's way too much to buy daily for me. Well, I mean, how much does it break down to if you have a cup of coffee at home, which is how I think now. I didn't buy a coffee today. I got a water, and I brought a water. I had 2 waters, and I had a croissant, and that's it. Because I just don't want to keep buying. Now, on one thing that I do sometimes is I bring along their little coffee cup. If you bring a coffee cup here, you bring your own. Then they give you a discount. Well, I don't feel sorry for the guy. I'll give you that. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I don't feel bad for the guy at all. If you're a dumbass and you do that, and listen, every action, there's a consequence to every action. So buy better coffee, or learn how to make it better. I mean, even with the Roke. Sometimes it tastes better than others, but if I get a really good coffee, I can definitely tell the difference between that and like Cafe Amazon or Starbucks or some cheap coffee that I buy because I don't want to run out of coffee. He works at he worked at Swiss Hotel Rachida. Wow. Well, they knew who he was. Boom, he wakes up. Maybe he was drunk. He wakes up. Oh, shit, what did I do last night? Oh, by the way, don't bother coming into work today. You're fired. What are you going to do, man? What did the guy expect? Why would you do that? Although, then again, why would Conor McGregor punch an old guy in a pub because he didn't want to sample his whiskey? It's just stupid, man. No common sense, no logic. Oh yeah, she definitely was. I think she had been drinking as well. And she really didn't hit that guy. I didn't really see her hit him solid one time. So, what was the point of all that? She could have just contacted the police. The police come. they make them pay 1,000 or 2,000 baht to her as a fine, and her evening is taken care of because she got a little beer spilled on her. Or she could have just walked away. I mean, I don't know if I would have walked away. Well, they're taking a page out of America. You do something wrong and outside your job and you get fired at, I don't see any problem with it, Obviously, that has nothing to do with relationships, but it does have to do with someone's relationship with booze and how they act. That's why it's like, listen, if you're gonna make a problem with any drug, make a problem with alcohol. Do something with alcohol. Change the alcohol laws, but don't change the weed laws unless you're changing it to allow people to be able to smoke it and eat it and whatever. Because you don't see a whole lot of stoners going around getting into big brawls. Now, people who get in brawls might be stoned, but the weed doesn't make them do stupid shit like booze does. Booze makes people do stupid shit. Like, you sleep with a 1 and you think she's a 10, and then you wake up and you go, wow, what did I do? Of course, that's never happened to me, but I'm not a big drinker. So, anyway, what are you gonna do? That's the end of him. He'll always be known as the guy, and who's gonna want to hire him now? What'd you get fired for? Do you have any references? Well, yeah, my last job booted me because I poured water on some chick, and I'm sure he's got an explanation. Well, I was so drunk. I'm gonna go to the temple now. Everything will be okay. Yeah, that'll work. I don't know if anybody knows this, but let's see here. TikTok was launched in 2017. Yahoo Messenger, I didn't even know this. Yahoo Messenger shut down in 2000. I'll give you an idea of how out of touch I am with I guess the West and the old internet ways. Yahoo Messenger shut down July 17th, 2018. I didn't even know it was shut down. It was shut down 4 years ago. Let's see here. What is this one? Parler launched in 2018 and then shut down in 2020. Where are the other ones? Facebook. Discord launched in 2015. Periscope launched in 2015. Friendster was shut down in 2015. Let's see here. Twitch launched in 2011. Facebook went public in 2012. That's only 10 years. That's not very long ago. Instagram launched in 2010. Pinterest 2010. Tumblr 2007. Does anybody look at Tumblr anymore? The guy was stupid. I'll give him just a little credit for not retaliating. Many guys would hit back. Now, the thing is what justification does he have to hit back? He did that to her. What's he expect? Does he expect her not to anger her? Some people will, take matters into their own hands, so to speak. And like the article said, he he picked the wrong girl. He really did pick the wrong girl because, if she had just been some little wallflower that didn't record it, didn't get pissed off, didn't do anything about it, he might still have his job. And if he's working at Swiss Hotel, I don't care what he's doing. If he's been there for a little while, that means maybe his severance package is gone. He's going to get his little, what is it called? The Providence Fund if he's putting into it. He's going to lose his health coverage. It's a big deal, just for being an idiot. Or not for being an idiot, for doing something stupid. I think that's a better way to put it. Because the guy might be intelligent. I don't know. He might be very mild-mannered most of the time, but he took an idiotic step in coming back and pouring that all over her. Well, fair or not, Thai guys get a bad rap for hitting women. I don't know if it's true or not. Well, they certainly do have a bad rap, but then that's all coming from the women's side. Maybe I should talk to men about it and say, hey, what's the deal? I always say that a lot of the problem is because the women aren't getting the men that they want, or that they expect a certain thing to happen because they're with the guy, and maybe the man is straight up and open with them and tells them, no, this is not what I want, but the woman wants it. Like, we're gonna get married one day, right? Well, I don't know, because I'm not sure I want that. Yeah, well, maybe one day we will. And then it's like, she just doesn't get it. And if you tell her, and she just doesn't get it, she's got no right to get pissed off. I grind my coffee daily and brew it in 1 cup at a time, and even with expensive grounds, it comes out to about 72 cents a 16-ounce cup. Yeah, I don't know about how many cents it cost, but it worked out to about 40 baht for an illy cup. No, was it 40? Let me think. 30 baht, I think it was. It was about $1, a double espresso of illy coffee, which is pretty expensive. It's like $25 for 250 grams, and it costs fuck all if you're using a reasonably priced coffee. And by reasonably priced, I mean it's like 200-300 baht for 250 grams. It works out to really cheap, man. So I don't know about 16 ounces, but really, if you're going to make an Americano, all that is, for me, what I do to make an Americano for my old lady is I just get the double espresso, pour that into a coffee cup, and then add water and mix it up. I'm staying with a friend. He's not a coffee guy. Small, cheap to coffee. Small, cheap 2-cup coffee maker. I'm not buying another one in pour mode. What about the VA? Have you gone there yet? Are they open at all for you? I mean to ask you that. I'm in pour mode as well, believe me. Not like I'm ever in the extremely wealthy mode. I've never been in that mode really. I've been fairly well off a couple times, but it's been a while now. You can always buy good coffee, that might help. It'll take a few months to come to a close. And then you're going to come back here, or you don't know yet? You're still kind of waiting to see what happens. Because, I was talking to Longhorns, Scott. He and I were talking about, what it's going to take to go and come back here. And for him, he's got a family here as well. And he wants to live in Cambodia. And he's like, I said, well, you know, one thing is you're going to be away from your family, and it might be difficult for you to get back in. You know, I mean, you're just going to have the insurance. It's going to be an extra expense. And that extra expense is something that a lot of us don't want to pay. And so, you know, the thing is that if he goes there, right, let's say he goes to Cambodia, he gets himself set up, he decides, you know, after 6 months, oh, I want to visit my family. He's going to come back. Yeah, granted, he'll have better insurance, but it's going to be at a premium, which he really doesn't need right now. And then, you know, after that, it's going to be, well, who knows what will happen? They may drop that requirement. I don't know. You know, but that's something that he's thinking about. Something I think about. So, hell yes, I'm going back. You think I'm staying here? I don't know, you know. The beer guy is returning to his home province. I don't care. He can go back to his home province. If anything, you know, he really should apologize to the woman and, like, well, I think maybe he already did, but I don't know. You know, you can't apologize for doing something that stupid. I mean, your apology means nothing. That's the thing. And I've said this before. I said it a long time ago, a lot more, and I don't say it too much anymore. But you know, ties. They say some ties. I don't want to lump everybody together. They use "I'm sorry" as a way to get out of things. Like it's going to be okay because I'm sorry. No, it's not okay. It doesn't make everything okay. You know. So. It never does. You know, you accidentally bump into somebody and you say, I'm sorry. Okay, I understand. But, you know, if you are driving a motorcycle around a corner and hauling ass, doing something stupid, and you run over a doctor and kill her, I'm sorry. You know, okay, I'm very sorry, you know. And that can't possibly come close to meaning, to doing enough. You know. You're kind of obligated to say that. But it doesn't do a damn thing. How about you just don't be an idiot and drive that way in the first place? And then you don't have to say you're sorry. You know, that's the way I look at it. And they do have a habit of using that. I don't see it as much as I used to, but I used to notice it a lot. Maybe I just have let it slide and I haven't been thinking about it much. But back 7, 8 years ago, and there's a guy who comes over here, I was talking about him the other day, from Boston, and his girlfriend is Thai. And I would tell them, yeah, you know, it sure seems like they say I'm sorry a lot, and it really means fuck all. It doesn't mean anything after you've, you know, killed the person. How about you just don't kill them? How about you just don't run them over? How about you don't do something that stupid, you know? And maybe that's a bit harsh, but I don't think so. No. Yeah, Longhorns, when are you getting back? I should have poured a beer on a Thai woman before I came back, but I just gave her the bird and had some choice words. She deserved it, but yes, I was dumb for doing it. I was drinking, but she pissed me off. I didn't know about this. Well, it was on one of your drinking expeditions with Jono. Let me think here. February, March, April. Around April. I predict around April and May, things are going to start looking quite a bit better here. That's my prediction. By the end of the year, I think, I'm hoping that it will start to become a memory. That's what I'm shooting for. According to the Thai government, booze and alcohol is the real devil. which is why if I wait another 2 hours and say 5 minutes, I won't be able to buy any. Because, well, if I want to go to some little shop house, I could, but, you know, if I wanted to buy a bottle of wine, I wouldn't be able to buy one. All right, well, we're really, we've run far over. You know, I told Longhorns, you know, today, an hour and a half, that's what we're doing. Hour and a half. Never seems to work that way. Yes, LOL. She accused me of something she knew nothing about, basically calling me a thief and taking advantage of someone's money that didn't even pay a dime for me. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah, there, you know, there they go again, sticking their nose in a place where it shouldn't go. She was a Thai, though? Oh, Thai woman, yeah. Well, I did hear a few choice words from the girl that had the beer poured on her and that was kicking the guy. I did hear her say a few words, especially at the end of the video. Most people who know a little bit about Thai could make out what she said, which had to do with the guy's mother. You know, very bad, not polite here. So anyway, listen, I gotta go. I got a few things to do today, and I'm knackered. Really? You've never talked to a woman like that? You're lucky. You're lucky. I don't know about mañana. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe. Maybe not. Yeah, well, that's... Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's, you know, there are a few words that when you call somebody that, there's no taking it back. There's no, I'm sorry. Once you say it, it's just wrong, and nothing that someone says will really suffice, you know? It's never good enough. Because once they say it, it's done, you know? But you're there, not here. Maybe you'll see her again, who knows? Maybe you'll have your opportunity. Can't take that out of take the word Thai out of that little paragraph there, Patsy and Bob. Women can get you really mad and really horny, the extreme of two opposite spectrums. I think it rings true whether you got the word Thai in there or not. Anyway. Boy. Guys, please remember to leave a thumbs up. I gotta keep preaching this stuff. I gotta be like, like Chuck told me, I gotta be like a radio show. Every 20 minutes you gotta bring these things up because people will forget. She apologized through someone else. Alcohol brings out the best in us. Well, who knows? Maybe you'll end up, stooping her. I don't know. I don't know if you'd ever want to, but, stranger things have happened. Yeah, leave a thumbs up, subscribe. If you haven't left the thumbs up, leave a thumbs up. Sometimes we stay focused in the conversation. We tend to in the beginning, and then at the end it tends to be kind of like freestyle. But at least today did not get on the subject of well, we stayed away from one subject. That's what I'm going to say. So that's great. But yeah, leave a thumbs up, please. Would appreciate that. Subscribe if you haven't done so. And I know there are people out there that are commenting that are not, you know, YouTube tells you so much now, and it's like sometimes I just go through and I go, oh, I didn't know that. I had seen something the other day. I thought somebody, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. She'd have to buy me a Japanese toilet. Oh, that would make everything better. Anyway. Yeah. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe, buy a t-shirt, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. Join up with the YouTube. Join up with the YouTube. Go on the internet and find that Patreon and become a member over there or whatever. Everything's in the description. Man, I really hate having this. I should just put like a little recording in, push a button, and it will do everything for me. Oh wait, that's why I do like the StreamYards and the, what's the other one? Melon, because you can push a button and then all of a sudden there's a little banner, a little ticker that goes. I don't have to say anything, or you just put it up there and it stays up there. I love that. Japanese toilets solve lots of problems. So do squat toilets, and so does the bump gun. And one last thing, since we're on the subject, I did mention to Chucky that he needs to practice before he leaves. He needs to practice his use of the bum gun a little bit more. And he said, well, I'll have you know, this is true. He said, I'll have you know, I have been practicing and I'm getting better at it. So at least he's picking it up and he's trying. I mean, I think maybe I'm a fast learner. I got the bum gun in my hand. It worked the first time. You know, if you got problems with skid marks, use the bum gun. Use a bidet. Use a Japanese toilet. But, you know, listen, he's on his way. He's practicing. Now, it may take him a while. I think he's going to Mexico in April. Maybe he'll be back here in May to meet up with Longhorns. I know he wants to go to Kazakhstan. He wants me to go to Kazakhstan with him. I think it was Kazakhstan. And depending on what's going on, you know, it could happen, but, you know, that's one of those places, yeah, I'd like to go there, but I'm not, like, dying to go there, you know? Tell him to practice using the one at the car wash. Yeah, well, that'll change things for him. He'll be speaking at higher octaves if he does that. Anyway, listen, I've gone on and on and on. It's time to go. All right, I will see you all later. Take care. Choke D, jerk and my, all that good stuff. And yeah, I'll see you when I see you. I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow. I always say that, but you know, it takes a lot of time up, and there's a lot of things that I can't do because they stream for, say, 3 hours, and then I'm up a couple hours before, and you know, it takes me an hour or so after to wind down, get home, and so, you know, you're talking about six hours or so. I don't need to be streaming this much. That's what I will say. I think I'm streaming too much, maybe. Use the neighbor's chihuahua. Ooh. Or the little kid's rabbit that lives next door. You could use the rabbit. That would be good. Of course, make sure it's not a white rabbit. That's just sick. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. All right, see ya.